Welcome to the land of reality, where the truth will be heard. And we don't give a damn about your feelings. So stomp your feet, cry if you want to, scream and shout, cause we don't give a damn, fanboys. The whole truth and nothing but the truth.
That's hard. That's not who was saying. That's hard.
Wow, that would be great.
Shout out to Uncommon Sense. That's the new song. He just sent it to me yesterday. Welcome everyone to the Wednesday Live. As always, we have AOH Sports and Fitness Rants and Speam Engine in the house. Robin, if you would do us the honors of shouting out people as they come in.
Man, yo, once again, man, it is great to be back on another Wednesday Live. Yo, shout out to Uncommon Sense dropping a banger for us with the intro, the whole truth and nothing but the truth. That's what we got for you guys every time we come out here on these live shows, man. So once again, shout out to Uncommon Sense, sounding like my man Nate Dogg out there. Once again, rest in peace to Nate Dogg, the legend. Once again, shout out to my man Speam for coming through as always. You know, my man, the Czar, the video footage, AOH, the real Cyberius again, and once again, holding it down, you know, leading us out here. And again, man, shout out to everybody that continues to come through, man. Like I said, it really means a lot that you guys, like I said, man, I see the same names always coming through early. Shout out to Lynetta 402, Import AI. That's right. Shout out to Robin and Scotty One Rib Pippin. That's what, you was watching my video earlier. Shout out to my man Import AI, Chris Garcia. Shout out to you, Andrew Music, Anthony Sanchez, CL Johnson, Mountain Skies, Lionel Jones, Sox R2B, Michael Knight. Shout out to all you guys. For real, man, it means a lot. Tom 306, Armando Ruiz. Shout out to you, always coming through. Shug 8263, Ealzabag, Davion, Speedy Eagle, Nicholas Johnson. Once again, Raider Nation, as always. You guys know the deal, man. Let's roll.
That was an excellent sound.
Absolutely. Thank you, Robin. Speam, you want to say hello to everyone?
I'm supposed to follow that bullshit. Shout out to everybody. Shout out to AOH from speaking to us from Cybertron. Hey, shout out to Nike for finally dropping a retro people give a shit about. Finally dropping my gloves. Finally dropping my Pippins. Excuse me, my Peytons.
Sure.
My Peytons, my gloves. Okay. Finally dropping something decent. Shout out to Nike. That's all.
AOH, you want to say hello to everyone?
Hello, everyone. Great to be here.
All right.
Shout out to Chick Hearn Forever, 779. Shout out to Rolly G. Once again, shout out to California.
We got a list of topics today. We will be going in order on the list because that's how I have it set up down below. So we're going to discuss Shaq the Sycophant, Lakers being sold again. Mario Chalmers takes Jordan over the last shot. That's not really what we're talking about, but that is the topic. Jordan could play 10 more years than LeBron, what that means, and some soundbite reactions. So let's go ahead and get into it. This is Shaq the Sycophant. The good thing for LeBron, he did win one, but you know, Kareem got 6, Magic got 5, Kobe got 5, I got 4, Rambis got 3. He's at the party, but he's not on stage.
Yep, he's not even at the party.
No, he would not be allowed.
The fact that he threw out Kurt Rambis to me is hilarious. Once again, shout out to Kurt Rambis, who was out there as a hustle guy, you know, a guy that gets rarely mentioned. He was one of those guys, you know, the role guys, you know, one of the guys that, you know, rarely gets mentioned. See, it's funny how, you know, they mention all the guys that Michael Jordan played with. They'll name all those other guys, but someone like Kurt Rambis is forgotten about. Even someone like AC Green, who came in and replaced Kurt Rambis as the starter. gets, rarely mentioned when they talk about the Bulls playing the Lakers, even in 1991. AC Green's a forgotten guy, once again. So shout out to Kurt Rambis. But yeah, when Shaq says, talking about the championships won, it's also funny to me that Shaq said that he has 4, when in reality, he has 3 championships on the LA Lakers. So to be real here, Shaq, and let's keep the facts here.
Wow, that is weird. Goddamn, he can't keep track of his own numbers.
Nope. Well,
right,
no,
Kobe Bryant has 5 on the Lakers.
I feel like he just had to throw in how many rings he has total. He wasn't caring about what team they were for.
Well, I think that's the whole reason he even went into that whole list format, was so that he could just quickly get to where he is, within the Lakers pantheon. I just keep circling back to, I don't understand why LeBron's even mentioned as a great for the Lakers at all. Just generally speaking, I mean, even if you give it the proper context, if you count it as a ring, which most normal people don't, it's 1 ring. All right. Why are we placing this man in any greatest conversation on the team where he has 1 kind of half-hearted ring? I don't even like, to me, if Shaq was real, that's what he would have responded with. That's what any Laker great would respond with.
I agree. Absolutely.
Right. See, and this is the problem for, and listen, man, much respect to Shaq for saying, as far as the Lakers, I think he's on the money when he talks about where LeBron James should be thought about as far as all-time great Lakers. But if you're going to say that LeBron James has 1 championship with the Lakers, then that's what I'm saying. Like, keep it real for everybody then. Because Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, who I believe he said had 6 in that same soundbite, doesn't have 6 championships with the Lakers. I think we all know that. So I understand what Shaq is saying, but he gave everyone else credit for their total championships. But when he talked about LeBron James, he was just singling out his time on the Lakers and what he did for LA. So like I said, if we're going to keep the facts, and we got to keep the facts, but just overall, like I said, when we talk about the ups and downs of LeBron James on the Lakers and the reality, of his time, on the Lakers, no one's going to think of LeBron James as one of the all-time great Lakers or put him above some of the guys that he mentioned. So in that regard, absolutely. And like Speam was saying, no one really, respects that bubble championship the same way as they do as the other championships in Lakers history.
Well, no, absolutely. And I mean, if you think about it, LeBron was there for 8 years. He missed the playoff twice, got swept twice, got gentleman swept twice. That's 6 years of the time that he was there and he accomplished nothing. And then you throw a bubble championship, and then I can't even remember what happened in the last season because it's irrelevant. But how is he supposed to be considered an all-time Laker great? I don't get it.
Well, Cyberius, what they're hoping happens is the further you're removed from history, the easier it is to shape it, right? Like for us, that's, again, Robin, I'm going to steal your thunder if that's even possible. That's why we do this all the time, because if there's nobody here in place to do it, then, real basketball fans, their kids are going to start to believe this bullshit as they see it. There's not going to be anybody in place to tell you, like, no, we were alive to tell you and to show you that championship was bullshit. Anybody that paid attention to basketball, followed basketball, watched it, could tell you that the bubble was all over the place. Like the rules were all up and down. People got to do whatever they wanted. It was clear as day the basketball players didn't want to be there. But 10 years from now, 20 years from now, you're going to get a lot of guys in the clutch camp telling you it was the exact opposite. So that is why we're doing it. But again, it's like it's impossible to narrow down one bullshit sector to start on before it starts up somewhere else.
For sure.
Yo, I mean, listen. Oh, go ahead.
Hey, wait, you still with us? All right, go ahead, Robin.
No, I was going to say, and let's be real also, the main reason why LeBron James is never going to be viewed as one of the all-time great Lakers, it's not, just comes down to the lack of championships won in his tenure there. but it's about all the embarrassing moments, the lack of effort, the load managing, the flopping, all the things that he did in the Laker uniform, all the nonsensical tweets that he sent out, keeping that same energy and activating playoff mode. I mean, we've gone over that. These are all things he's done in the Laker uniform. This all goes part to your legacy and your tenure on the Lakers. These are all part of the reasons why you're not going to be viewed as someone like a Kobe Bryant would be viewed, or a Jerry West, or, you know what I'm saying, a Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Magic Johnson, a James Worthy, right? Some of the other guys, Elgin Baylor, the George Mikens, because that's another thing about it. It's not as if the Lakers is some, lackadaisical franchise or some franchise that doesn't have a history. The Lakers are one of the storied franchises, so it has a lot of great history there. A lot of great players play for the Lakers. So it's not you're coming into a franchise with one or two great players in its history. You're going to a franchise that has a lot of great players, and not only were they great players, they were all-time great players, and these were some of the greatest players of all time, some of these guys, and you're never going to be viewed like those guys when you're walking around, you're lollygagging on the court, you're looking at the referee and you're talking to the referee while the plays are going on behind you. You're not really galvanizing the team. These are the things that people see. The fans see this stuff. So you're never going to be put on the same, level of respect as those other all-time great legends.
Absolutely. Well, and especially because LeBron didn't win until AD showed up. They were sub 500 his first 2 years there. AD shows up. Somehow they win a finals. And then 2 seasons later, they win 33 games? Like, What are you talking about? Where's the greatness? I'm sorry. Am I missing it?
Yeah. But I think Shaq overall, what he's saying is on the money. And as far as the Lakers franchise, like, there should never be any statue talk for LeBron James in LA.
No,
not at all. Hey, you with us now?
Shout out to LH out there in the mountains. You know how he be doing, man. He's out there getting firewood.
Shout out to Area 51, right?
Okay, he's out there fighting off poison ivy.
I don't know what's happening there. Anyway, I mean,
Cyberius.
I think we can pretty much move on from LeBron being an all-time great.
Can I just piggyback something off of this topic that you started off with here? Real briefly, because it goes to Shaquille O'Neal and some of the things we've been talking about, and that you called him a sycophant, and Shaq has been very inconsistent. I think that's what we all have been frustrated with Shaquille O'Neal. Because I think, let's be honest, we all love Shaquille O'Neal. We all respect Shaquille O'Neal, the basketball player, and all these things, man. But the inconsistencies, and I heard some comments from Shaquille O'Neal recently, and he was talking about Kobe Bryant, and he was talking about basically some of the regrets he has, I guess, or some of the things I guess he wish he would have done differently in regards to the relationship and staying in LA and not maybe taking money or whatever the case may be. And he said something about the LA Laker fans never loved him, but they loved Kobe Bryant. You know what I'm saying? But they never loved him. And to me, I thought that was hilarious. And I'm like, dude, what are you talking about, man? Like, everyone loved you. That was the thing with Shaq, especially like I said, when Shaq came in, man, he had that personality. He had the charisma. So for him to make a claim that the Laker fans never loved him, they love Kobe Bryant, I think what he's misunderstanding is they didn't love him like they loved Kobe Bryant. Absolutely. Right. But why was that, Shaq? That wasn't really necessarily because Kobe Bryant was so much greater than you and all these other things. It was because of how much harder they saw Kobe Bryant work, the effort that Kobe Bryant gave, the sacrifice that he was willing to make that Shaq never really did. So that's why they may have loved him differently and loved him more, but they loved Shaquille O'Neal there.
But you know what's so kind of disappointing about what you're saying, though, Robin, is because Shaq is as sensitive as he is, right? I loved watching him play grow up. I love the fact that he would just go out there and just absolutely bully whoever's in front of him, right? But it's even crazier coming from someone as sensitive as he is. But it's actually right in line with somebody from Clutch and their camp to turn around and support them all of a sudden like this. So I think we were surprised when it happened with Barkley, but I think looking back on it, we're less surprised when it's Shaq saying crazy stuff like this because, like I've said in the past, his opinion is for sale. Like if there is an athlete that's for sale, it is him. He will put his name behind anything and everything, right? And since he just had this deal with Reebok, and Reebok is pushing Angel Reese, and he has this whole kind of WNBA thing happening right now. I think he's in this kind of just like this camp of I need to just say things to remain relevant, even though to me, again, the most dominant force I'd ever physically seen play basketball, still out here begging for people to talk about how much they love him. It's weird and very disappointing to see in real time.
I agree.
Hey, wait, you live?
I keep looking for.
Watch out for the Coyotes, man. Don't let them get you. Keep them off your heels. Make a fire. Keep them back.
All right, let's get to some of these supers real quick. I was going to say I want to make sure that I don't get behind. TCWM7JR. Thanks to Real Cyberius for lighting a fire under and for not making excuses and to appreciate the small wins. So far, I've lost 5 pounds. I appreciate you.
Dope.
Hey, man.
Dope.
Yo, shout out to TC.
I appreciate that. I was going to say, yep, as the logo on my channel says, don't make excuses, make results. So thank you.
Man. For real. So that means a lot right
next,
there, man.
House the Bog coming through. Bottom line, LeBron was never able to win without a superstar that was at least on his level. AD was the best and most impactful player. Without him, the Lakers were a lottery team, and they were.
You could have a 45-minute dissertation about the greatest players that he's ever played with at their ceilings, and it's it's like mind-blowing the talent that he's had. Because I'm immediately thinking to myself, yeah, AD was like by far the best player he's ever played with, ceiling-wise. D Wade was the best for him, but Embiid is a freak of nature when he feels like playing basketball and is healthy for 5 minutes. I mean, like, what are we talking about here? Whatever he does in Philly should only hurt his legacy because he's playing again with a generational big man. And I don't know if Jaylen Brown's quite a generational scorer yet, but hit between him and Tyrese Maxey, there's at least one generational player there. This should only hurt his legacy. It's funny that it's even a conversation anymore.
Yo, man, this guy, listen, we focus so much on the big name guys that LeBron James played with, right? We focus on the Dwayne Wades and the Bosches and the Kevin Loves and the Kyrie Irvings, the Anthony Davises, right? The Luka Doncic's, right? Like I said, the list goes on and on, including the guys this season. And rightfully so to focus on the big name guys because this is what we talk about when you're comparing him to a Michael Jordan. But when you think about LeBron James overall, if you just think about the quote-unquote other guys, and even if we include the quote-unquote big-name guys that were only there to be other guys, i.e. Shaquille O'Neal or Ben Wallace, right? Some of these other guys are way past their prime, but they were there to be other guys. So if you think about all the names of all those other guys, yo, this dude played with everybody. He played with a lot of guys that did a lot of things in the NBA. So the problem that we've talked about is we don't remember those guys, the other guys, because they play with LeBron James. So they minimize not only the main guys, that in turn minimizes the other guys. We talked about it before. Some of these other guys, you don't even remember played on other teams. For example, Ron Harper never gets brought up as being on the Lakers when they won and started that three-peat. Ron Harper was a starting point guard for the Lakers, but no one talks about Ron Harper on the Lakers. They only bring him up for Jordan and what he did for Jordan. So these are the things that I've talked about. I've mentioned Steve Kerr before and how he played for the San Antonio Spurs and won a championship on the Spurs. But no one says, hey, Tim Duncan had Steve Kerr on his team when they won one of the championships. But they talk about him for Jordan. So a lot of these other guys that LeBron James had in his team, Richard Jefferson, for example, played with LeBron James. Richard Jefferson wasn't a bad player. He was a solid player. And what he was there to do, go look at what Richard Jefferson did in the 2016 NBA Finals. And once again, this is a contribution that you're never going to hear about because LeBron James fans don't care to talk about the contributions of LeBron James teammates. He did everything. He had no help, ever. So when you really talk and think about the guys that LeBron James played with, man, A through Z, it's insane, man, insane.
Well, I think that's an excellent point. And the thing is they're following their leader. He doesn't give any credit to his teammates, so they don't give any credit to his teammates.
Right.
It's a bad example,
Exactly.
but it's one that they follow to the T.
Exactly, for real.
All right, AOH, you with us?
I think so.
All right, yep, I can hear you.
All right. I don't
Welcome
know
back.
what. Thank you.
All right, well, let's move on. Looks like the Lakers are selling again, which is interesting. I mean, I'm not even exactly sure what that means. But I do find it interesting that Bob Iger is involved.
Why? Tell us.
I mean, Disney, well, I mean, I guess he was the former CEO of Disney, but Disney's just involved in everything, owning everything, controlling everything.
Yep, there's a lot of that.
Yeah, I think it's interesting in the regard that when you think about the Lakers as a franchise, we just talked about them historically and what they meant to the NBA and to basketball. But if you think about their ownership, it was a family-run business, so to speak. We think about Dr. Jerry Buss, the late Dr. Jerry Buss, and what he did, turning the Lakers around. And really, like I said, with the culture that he established, when he was there, and it being a family-run type of deal, like I said, his daughter, his kids taking over the business. If you think about that aspect, this is very interesting because it's been sold multiple times, like you're saying here, when it's been a family-run business. So like I said, for a while, man, since back in the day. So like I said, that in that regard, I think it's actually sad when you think about what has happened to a once proud franchise like the Lakers. And, the Buss family, and, what usually happens, when some of these families, the father has all this success, he does all these things, he leaves all this success for his family, for his kids, and they jack it the hell all up, man. Yo, you left a basketball team, and how do y'all jack up the goddamn LA Lakers, man? Are you freaking kidding me? And I'm not saying it's easy to run a business. I've never ran a business. My family had no businesses. None of this stuff. I'm not downplaying the aspect of running a business, man, especially a basketball team. But God damn it, it was a well-oiled machine. All you had to do was get behind the goddamn wheel and not fall asleep. And you fell asleep and you crashed that bitch. Not only did you crash it, you crashed it multiple times. Are you kidding me right now? And now they've sold for multiple times in a little bit of time? Absolutely ridiculous.
Well, so that's where I'm curious. So
what year did Magic Johnson leave the Lakers? It's 2019.
At the end of LeBron's
it was 2018, 2019, give or take.
Yeah, I think so. Probably right around
terrible
there.
First season, right?
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. Robin, as I was listening to you, so I almost wonder if the writing was on the wall. I mean, obviously it was back then, but so much of this mismanagement, I think you can tie it directly to Clutch and LeBron. I think this is just still part of those. They're still a Band-Aid on essentially a broken franchise. I mean, I think that's what's happening here.
So I'm curious. So when they sold 2 years ago, I believe they sold for $10 million. $10
billion. Yeah.
Now I believe they're selling for $12 million.
$10 billion.
Wow.
But why invest that much money to only own it for 2 years and really not even put your mark on that team? While obviously the value of the team has gone up, I'm trying to think of the right word. The credibility of that team been lost because of everything that happened with LeBron, and they just decided, you know what, owning this team isn't what I thought it was cracked up to be anymore.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to put your faith into a team that was, ballsy enough to draft his kid. Like that's a bad investment on multiple levels.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, the reality is, who cares? Like, it's not really going to change anything to, based on the ownership of the team. I mean, I think it's just like with anything, when Trump fucked us all the first time, it takes a lot to put that work to right the wrongs. I think with everything that happened with LeBron in LA, it's going to take time to right the wrongs.
Well, the new ownership, I guess the reason it's so confusing is because we were told, oh, the new ownership has this vision and Luka's part of that vision. And they're like, no, we were just stopping by.
Yeah, I don't really know necessarily what's going on there.
Wait,
I mean,
are you suggesting? So AOH, are you suggesting that it was a different conversation, kind of behind the scenes, on what the expectations were? And then
I don't know.
It's all hearsay, right?
It's really fucking confusing. I guess you could look at it as somebody pointed out, well, the value of the team went up by $2 billion as soon as LeBron left, and we could focus on that. And you could wonder if Jeannie Buss didn't think she was ever going to escape from LeBron and thought, well, I'd better sell now. And then they managed to get rid of him. And, oh, well, now we're worth more. I mean, those guys made $2 billion doing nothing. I mean,
yeah.
I don't, they did a first round elimination and a second round elimination. Hey, $2 billion.
See, I want to say something. A lot of times when we think about being in charge of something, right? We're talking about like a CEO of a company, you're in charge of them. You have your own business. In this instance, we're talking about, the NBA and owning a team. And I was, saying something earlier, and I was maybe being a bit funny, when I talked about how difficult it is to run a business. There's something that we have to understand. These people that run these businesses, when I'm talking about the Lakers being handed down to you, what ends up happening is, in a lot of these corporations, the reason why they're successful is because they have people at the ground level all the way on up that actually care about what they're doing. So what in turn happens is the company ends up being successful, right? It doesn't necessarily have to be necessarily because the owner of that company or, the leader or whatever it is such a great leader and knows what they're doing so well, but they understand what they don't know. So they have the people that are smart in the areas that they're not smart in, doing those things underneath them. You're only as great as your help. We talked about this crap with Michael Jordan and the LeBron James nonsense, man. You allow your help to help you. So in these businesses, you're supposed to hire people that are going to lift you up. So again, when someone dies or something changes over, an ownership thing happens. If that person who takes over really cares about what's going on about basketball, let's say you're really a competitor, you want to see your organization do good, what you're going to do is find the people that are not dead weight. You're going to find the people that are doing everything out there, that are going to lift you up, that are going to put you in the position. You're not going to go through and clean house and get rid of everybody just because they're not your people, because you didn't hire them. No, again, this is talking about listening to people that know more than you. Don't thinking you freaking know everything just because you have all the money and all the resources. That don't make you the smartest person in the freaking room. So again, man, a lot of times these people come in here, man, and they start making all these decisions, but you're not making decisions in the best interest even of yourself. And that's what a lot of times we see here, man.
I agree. It's a big mistake that people make, thinking they know everything. I mean, it's probably one of the biggest mistakes that LeBron has made, thinking he's a complete player with no holes in his game. I mean, if you think you're perfect, there's no room to improve. So who knows? Let's get to some of these supers real quick. Brother 1608, just showing some love. Shout out to AOH and Sport and Fitness Rants.
Oh, thank you.
Yo, shout out to brother 1608.
Full Metal Jacket. So wait, Lakers got rid of Bron and the value of the team went up $3 billion. Don't say.
Yeah, but he saved them.
Yo, shout out to Full Metal Jacket. Like, it actually sounds funny when you say it out loud.
Praise the dawn. Sports and Fitness Fred said, crash that bitch. Man's going off this episode. Keep stopping the lies and stopping the narratives.
Yo, shout out to Praise the Dawn.
Shout out to Anarchy.
Wow. All right. So this next one that we're moving on to, It's it has to do with Mario Chalmers saying he picks Jordan for the last shot over LeBron. That's not even necessarily what I care about or why I wanted to add this to the show. There's a few different things about this that I find very interesting, and a lot of it has to do with language and weaponizing people's comments. So at the top of the page, it says, despite winning multiple titles with LeBron, Mario Chalmers has Michael Jordan as his GOAT.
Mm-hmm.
That's just an innocuous comment. Like, Mario Chalmers shouldn't be damned for saying that, but this is basically what happens. He makes just a statement, and then the media turns it into shade. LeBron's been snubbed. Mario Chalmers is, is a punk. Why? Because he values winning over, I don't know. Like what?
Well, it's also there's so much intention behind picking somebody like him too, right? He did win with LeBron. We'll count those rings, but he's publicly bitched LeBron in front of millions of people. He's not somebody that is either pro or anti. So it's like you really have to check the weather with him, right? But like you said, Cyberius, it's how they set him up. We don't see how he was posed the question, just how he responded and how they set and how they framed it. So them saying, well, despite X, Y, and Z, all right, well, so what? Obviously, he didn't rock with him. There was a bunch of guys on that team that didn't rock with him, and now it's okay to talk about it. You couldn't talk about it back then. So I think this is just more, intentional, just weaponizing, like you said, of somebody's opinion, but also being very intentional in choosing somebody who is like almost kind of like low-hanging fruit to talk about LeBron James. Like they're not going to go out and talk to, I don't know, Mike Miller about LeBron James because he doesn't have like a public spat with him. He they're not gonna talk to the quote unquote non, for lack of a better term, sexy headlines out there to talk about, but they'll bring this shit up.
I just think it's gross.
I mean, listen, I think you're around the money when you talk about the spin, Cyberius. I think that's the most important thing here is the spin that they try to put on it. Like, is it, woe is LeBron James? It's such a negative thing. Like you said, the spin is very important. And I think another aspect that you mentioned also that they mentioned here, when they talk about, he won with LeBron James, so how dare he, have an opinion or whatever the case may be about LeBron James. But when Scottie Pippen has things to say about Michael Jordan, who won with Michael Jordan, they're all about it, man. They're telling you, yeah, man, Scottie Pippen's spitting facts out there. They have no clue what Scottie Pippen's talking about. Scottie Pippen has no clue what Scottie Pippen's talking about. And they'll come out there and support Scottie Pippen, but no one will be out there talking about, yeah, well, Scottie Pippen won 6 championships, 2 3-peats with Michael Jordan, so how dare he come out here and say these things? No, they're out here telling you it's got to be facts because he won with Michael Jordan. He played with Michael Jordan. It's got to be the facts. Now, all of a sudden, Mario Chalmers is crossing a boundary, stepping over a line here because he won with LeBron James. Yeah, he also had to call LeBron James the B word out there, too, on the sidelines. I don't remember Scottie Pippen telling Michael Jordan he's acting like a little B word all of a sudden now. And Michael Jordan had to, pull his pants up, pull your britches up there and stop acting like a little kid, man. Like, come on, man. These are things that happen. These are the interactions that they had with each other. So I think it's very interesting that, people try to put that spin on it and also try to knock them because they won together. I'm right. I mean, listen to what he said. He said, my GOAT is the guy that I'd rather have the ball in his hands at the end of the game. That's essentially what he was saying. When anyone talks about Michael Jordan taking the last shot, essentially what they're saying is, I want Michael Jordan to have the ball in his hands. I don't care what he does. Whatever he's going to do with it at the end of this moment is fine with me because Michael Jordan, he's proven himself. It's not just about him taking and making the shot. So when Mario Chalmers says, I want a guy that is going to have the ball and not be afraid to take that shot. Yeah, he's talking about putting the ball in Michael Jordan's hands. Who wants LeBron James? Because they tell you what? He makes the right play, but that's not what we see.
But Robin, also that doesn't get to the root of the issue. The root of the issue is we're not flat out asking anymore, who would you pick, Jordan or LeBron? now they're manipulating the question in itself to say, well, who do you want, you know, with the game on the line? Who do you want with, 2 turnovers left to go, blah, blah, blah. And who do you want? It's a very specific, and AOH, I think you brought this up last Sunday. It's a very specific word map that you have to follow and get to flat out say you like Jordan or LeBron instead of just standing on it. And this is just another example of that, saying, well, this is the person I want with, 2 seconds left. All right, cool. Well, who's the greatest? Just answer me that. Who do you think is the greatest of all time? But they can't do that because that's what'll get them in trouble. It's more of the, let's walk around the map of, who's the greatest, and then we'll see where we can land.
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, are we talking about the best basketball players to ever step onto the hardwood, or the best basketball players born on God Green's earth?
Oh,
right, exactly.
Not the greens,
exactly.
Not the greens earth.
Exactly. I mean, were they born on a Tuesday or a Thursday? You have to get these specifics. You have to find out if they have both their parents in their household.
Boy, the GOAT thing's changed.
It's a whole thing.
How many times has the GOAT topic changed in just the last few months? First there was, there's no such thing as a GOAT. And then I've heard someone else say, well, there's multiple GOATs. So stop saying, there isn't just one GOAT. I'm like, of course there's just one GOAT. What do you think GOAT stands for?
Right.
They're turning the GOAT conversation into a participation trophy, AOH.
Basically.
They're literally coming up with a participation trophy for GOAT.
Well, like you said, people will say, this is my GOAT. It's my GOAT. And listen, man, if you have a GOAT, man, and you feel like someone is your favorite player of all time, that's great. And you can have your favorite player. But when I start hearing people telling me that Paul George is their GOAT, that's my GOAT, man, Paul George, my GOAT, man, then you sound ridiculous. We've gone off the rails with the my GOAT stuff, all right? Everyone's not a GOAT candidate. Not everyone can be your GOAT. And this is where you said it loses all meaning when it's supposed to be the greatest player, not players of all time.
Right.
Yeah, shout out to Boom Shakalaka. There can be only one. Shout out to the Highlander, Clan McLeod. There can be only one. That's right, one GOAT.
I've always thought that the GOAT is definitive, not subjective. You can't qualify, at least. I've heard many arguments. I've heard many people make cases. There's never been anyone that's been able to articulate an argument over Jordan to me, because I don't think it can be done. Have there been people that have done a thing better than him? Absolutely. However, is he the greatest at all things? I mean, he may not be number one at every single thing, but he's at an incredibly elite level at everything. There's really not another player that you can say that about.
I want people to understand that Michael Jordan's career is incomplete, and yet he's still viewed as the greatest player of all time when we talk about overall, unanimously by most people in the world, man. Let's make no mistakes about it. This is one of the most unanimous things that you could talk about, man. You go anywhere in the world, man, and you ask, people are more often than not going to mention Michael Jordan. It doesn't matter where the hell you are, man. And he had an incomplete career. Not only did he have something tragic happen to him in the middle of his career when he was in the middle of a damn three-peat, and he retired when he was still the man was at his peak. He also was forced into retirement again, you can say, at his peak. So the man was stopped at 2 times during his peaks. So his career is incomplete. And because he did so much in so little time with such little help in the golden era, people view him as the greatest player of all time. I want you to let that sink into your minds, man. This ain't about, oh, man, y'all some nut huggers, man. Y'all just love Jordan, man. I'm giving you the facts here. Like Cyberius just mentioned, and I've debated many people since I've been on here for over 4 years, man. I've debated all kinds of people. People have seen my debates, man. I come with the facts, man. I come with the truth. And I've never seen anyone come close with any kind of evidence. There is no resume. There is no argument for any of these guys over Jordan, man. It doesn't even make any sense, man. It ain't my fault. I don't get anything out of this. I don't go to the mailbox every week and get a check from Michael Jordan because I'm promoting this. I get nothing from this. All I'm giving you is what happened. And what happened was we watched this man do things and in such a way and in such a short time. Man, I told you the bar is so high, you got to come in full speed.
All right. Well, let's go ahead and here, let me just highlight this comment here. Dakota Brock, I'm still shocked that no one saw LeBron going to Philly. He needs his super team no matter what. I wish LeBron joined his twin Anthony Edwards.
Hey, since he's talking about Philly, I don't know if you have the image, but I thought it was interesting to see that with the lineups that the NBA has chosen, there's LeBron. It's LeBron James in the Philly jersey, and against the other team's star. It's like, how does that feel, Jaylen Brown? How does that feel, Maxey? How does that feel, Embiid?
Yeah.
This fucking 42-year-old who causes teams to lose has just arrived and taken your spot. I talked about marketing last week. It's like they are telling you to focus on LeBron James, and therefore you are focusing on LeBron James. It's not really fair to say that the league needs LeBron James when the league won't let us move on from LeBron James. How dare you shit all over the young talent on that team and put that fucking piece of trash, no talent dinosaur on the screen to represent the Sixers instead.
Yeah.
It's it's the definition of a toxic relationship. They're not going to let it go. I don't know if you guys have seen it in the chat. Shout out to a couple of people that have dropped it. I'm seeing Russell Westbrook announced his retirement.
Did he?
Yeah, and I'm trying to corroborate that, and it looks like it's true, which makes me incredibly sad.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I agree.
That's a shame.
I agree. That is sad.
Yeah, see what happens there. Once again, shout out to Russell Westbrook, man. If this is in fact true that I know they saying he announced it, but maybe he'll get signed here and he'll play, before, whatever. But shout out to Russell Westbrook in his career. It's really sad when you see someone like Russell Westbrook kind of go out like this, not having a home during free agency, but they're trying to promote somehow that Ben Simmons is going to make a comeback to the NBA. Like, this is what we're doing. Give me Russell Westbrook right now, last season, next year, 5 years from now, over Ben Simmons. I don't give a damn, man. All right,
Robin, give him over Bronny James. Give him over Bronny James. What are we doing?
Ben Simmons does not deserve another chance in the NBA. As far as I'm concerned, that man should never be. He should be banned from the NBA. Listen, the NBA is not a right; it's a privilege for you to play in that league, man. And Ben Simmons threw that away, man. They were begging this guy to give a little bit of effort. They were begging this guy to go to practice. They were begging this guy to work on his game. They were begging for him to play. He was sitting there on the sidelines with the Jenners or the Kardashians. I don't know what their last names are. He was hanging out with the girl, and he was sitting there in those weird outfits he was wearing, going to the Met Galas while getting paid, laughing and spitting everybody's face. So F Ben Simmons, man, and I mean that with all due disrespect to him. That man should not even be allowed anywhere near the NBA. But they're promoting him maybe having to come back in the NBA. But Russell Westbrook can't find no home in the NBA. So it's really sad that he's going to go out this way. And we can point to someone like LeBron James as being a reason. I mean, look at Carmelo Anthony at the end of his career. How did it work out for Carmelo Anthony playing with LeBron James at the end?
Yeah. It's like they have goldfish memory. 5 minutes later, and whatever happened, somehow it's gone.
Yeah, but you know what? It's actually kind of weird to me that because the players have a union, right? And Robin, as I'm listening to you put it in context, again, I want to remind everybody, Bronny James has a solid lockdown roster spot on an NBA team, right? Like, and now Russell Westbrook's announcing his retirement. Ben Simmons is sitting here talking about potentially coming back. Like, at what point does somebody in the players union come out and say, like, no, like, my rights are being, granted, it's you know, none of this is owed them, right? It is a privilege, right? But like, I'm being stepped on here. There's got to be a higher system in place to be like, no, like some of these things that are happening are shady. I don't remember what it took for Congress to get involved, you know, in baseball with the steroids and all that, because I know that's what was best for ratings. But at some point, there has to be a governing body that comes in and points out to just shady shit that's happening that they used to lie about, and, you know, at least lie on our faces and tell you it's something else. Now it's just happening. It's just happening, and like they don't even give a shit enough to lie anymore. So at what point does like myself as a basketball fan say like, no, like who's the governing authority here or the governing body to step in and say like, yo, enough is enough. Like this is getting out of control.
Well, it's an interesting point.
Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
Go ahead, Cyberius.
Well, because I thought that the FBI was investigating the NBA for all of the gambling stuff going on. That was some time ago. I haven't heard a peep about it.
Right.
Has it just been forgotten? Is it not even being looked into and it was all a ruse?
And they're knocking players left and right. They're getting busted for this nasty work, like left and right.
So, yeah, I don't know how that works. Go ahead, Robin.
No, I was going to say, I saw someone say something in the chat about something I said about Carmelo Anthony or something like that. And they missed the point that I was making when I mentioned Carmelo Anthony in relation to Russell Westbrook, and they're not getting the situation, what I'm talking about. Carmelo Anthony was looking for a way to stay in the NBA, right? He was looking for a lifeline, if you remember that time. And who was his lifeline? Supposed to be his boy, LeBron James. He was supposed to be throwing Carmelo Anthony kind of like a lifeline. He had given him and breathing some life into his career at the end of his career. But the way that season rolled out, even though he told us to keep that same energy, the way that season played out as a disastrous of a season where they didn't even qualify for the freaking play-in, Carmelo Anthony's career went to crap after that, man. There was nothing else left. When I'm talking, I mentioned Michael Jordan. I mentioned Ron Harper earlier. You're going to sit there and telling me Ron Harper wasn't on his last legs after 1998 when Michael Jordan retired and hung it up, and 2 seasons later, he's a starting point guard for the champion Lakers? Come on, man, because I'm talking about Jordan kept Ron Harper relevant, man. He kept them in the game like that. He breathed life into these guys' careers. Dennis Rodman, that's what he breathed life into dudes, man. He resurrected guys. He gave you a couple extra years. Steve Kerr, he went to the San Antonio Spurs. He was able to hitch a ride and do a little something and add something to the team because Michael Jordan gave him a little something. You guys don't get the points that I'm making here. Bang! Goodness gracious, man. Sometimes I gotta hurt myself here and lose my voice trying to educate you fools when people try to come out here and talk to me about some stuff, man. I'm giving you the facts here, man. I'm letting you know what happened. LeBron James ain't do nothing for his people, man. He ain't breathe no life into them dudes' careers. He takes away from guys' careers. Look, Kevin Love was in his prime when he went to play with LeBron James. That man came out and you would have thought he was the president for the last 20 years, man. That's how much he aged. That dude was hurting, man. That man, 20 years and 3 seasons playing with LeBron. I mean, goddamn. That's what you got playing with LeBron James. But y'all over here talking about Kevin Love wasn't that good. What did he do before LeBron James? That man was in his prime. That man was so good, LeBron James would not go to Cleveland without him, y'all. You guys never want to talk about that stuff. He would not go to Cleveland unless they made that move and got rid of the number one freaking draft pick wasn't even good enough for LeBron freaking James. But you fools out here talking about he does more with less. He lifts people up. He can't even have the number 1 draft pick.
All right, I'm going to get to some of these supers real quick. Don't want to get too far behind.
Good call.
Speam, would you mind reading that?
Yeah, shout out to J. Michael 4770. Your weekly reminder that goats don't do impressions of Jodie Foster on the pinball machine.
God damn.
Yeah, okay. In The Accused, the 2011. Oh, that's in my brain now.
Wow.
That's funny. That's in there. That's going to be in there for a while. That's a good one.
I mean, if you've never seen The Accused.
No, I've seen The Accused. That's what I'm trying to get that worked out of my skull here.
Say that's wild.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you.
All right. Earn Your O2 I can acknowledge that Jordan is the GOAT. Kobe is my GOAT. I was able to watch him play. Talking about the greatest players from different generations is different as well. Ichiro Suzuki, my true GOAT.
Yo, once again, shout out to Ernie your O for coming through. And yo, shout out to Ichiro Suzuki, man, a true legend, one of the great leadoff men. You can argue the greatest leadoff man in Major League Baseball history to do what's like that, man, could do all kinds of things. So shout out to this comment, is amazing. And when you talk about the my goats, this is what I'm talking about right here. All right, I have no problem with Kobe Bryant being my GOAT or Bill Russell being your GOAT or Kareem Abdul-Jabbar being your GOAT. There are certain players that I have no problem with people saying this, but I told you it loses all meaning when we start to mention it and talk about the other guys, some random dudes that you want to say is your GOAT, man. That's when it gets ridiculous.
Agreed. All right, Full Metal Jacket coming through again. Thank you, sir. Bronny about to be unemployed. He might show up on Drake's dating show with some anime makeup on. Oh, we gotta eat, right? That is crazy.
Thank you, Full Venom.
Oh, wow. All right. Well, let's go ahead and move on. I'm sure you guys will have some thoughts on this. We don't have to spend a lot of time on it. But it was put in Discord, so I wanted to include it. Yeah, if LeBron continues his 2-year contract with Philly, he'll spend a full decade more in the NBA than Jordan.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, we laugh at that, but they're posting it like he's accomplishing something.
Well, right. Well, and that's why I included it, because it's disgusting, as if that's some landmark that merits praise.
It's so sad. It's so sad that it's congratulating something that hasn't happened yet, and even if it does happen, probably doesn't matter.
No,
like that's how I don't. There's a word for it.
He's stealing money. He's hurting franchises. He's taking the limelight away from NBA players who are supposed to be developing, and people are supposed to be getting to know them. And you're praising him for this. He's standing around. He won't practice. His own team can't have shoot-arounds because of him. What part of this is commendable?
Well, that's what
is it fair? Is it fair to say that Michael Jordan is larger than the NBA itself? Is that a fair statement?
No,
I think that he was promoted in such a way that you would say that, right? However, Michael Jordan, the individual, never thought of himself as bigger than the game. And I think that's the greatest part about what Michael Jordan and how he carried himself. You know, when you put the graphic up here, go ahead, Speam. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No. Please, you're answering my question, but let me get to the second half of it real quick. Because I think he's larger than the NBA. Couldn't he because this is disrespectful as shit that just the NBA putting this out here against the man who continues to keep them propped up forever, in my opinion. Can't he put his thumb down and just be like, yo, enough's enough? Like, doesn't he of all people have the power to he will say he does not, right? But don't we think and know that if Jordan said, yo, enough's enough, like you're gonna stop, you, the NBA, are gonna stop playing with my name like this?
I don't know, Speam. I mean, they've been kind of all about LeBron. It was a bad investment. They needed a replacement for Jordan so badly that they decided to falsify a replacement for Jordan, and it's biting them in the ass. But if that's the mentality of the people running the league, I don't know, man. That sounds like some shady people, not people you can just have a reasonable conversation with.
Listen,
it's not far-fetched though, right?
Listen, when LeBron James came into the league, and you think, I mean, look at some of the plays of LeBron James in his early years. LeBron James was exciting. He was exciting the NBA. He was a plus. He was a positive for the NBA when he first came in the league. LeBron James. One of my favorite commercials of LeBron James is the one with all the different LeBron Jameses. And you have the young LeBron James, the old LeBron James. You have all these different versions of LeBron James. You have the one with LeBron James in the pool. And the one LeBron James says to him, you think Michael Jordan was in the pool doing all the stuff? Remember? So, like, to me, those commercials were great. The problem, as we talked about with LeBron James, is as the years went on, and LeBron James went down this road. He was traveling down the road, which is his career. He decided to take shortcuts at every turn. He decided to go against conventional wisdom with what all the other great players did. He decided to go his own way. And in turn, he's not well respected like the other all-time great players. What I was going to say before is when you put up the graphic of LeBron James as an older player, when you put up these things, right? And, we're talking about Michael Jordan. Sometimes I hear Michael Jordan fans or people that claim to be Michael Jordan fans, and they'll say things like, oh, man, I really hate those Wizards years, man. All those Wizards years are embarrassing. All those Wizards years are hard for me to watch. Oh, I can't believe he did that. He ruined his career by coming back for the Wizards. If you're a true Michael Jordan fan, I'm talking about Michael Jordan. You watched Michael Jordan, man. And you really are a Michael Jordan fan, man. There's no way you would ever say that you're embarrassed by Michael Jordan's Wizard years or, Michael Jordan's Wizard years ruined his career and all these kinds of things. Because if you really think about what made Michael Jordan the player that he is, that made him earn and, get all the things and accomplish all the things that he did, at his core, you saw that on the Wizards, man. You saw the core of Michael Jordan on the Wizards. What made him go? The competitive fire. When AOH mentions, LeBron James not practicing, after all these years, what do you hear the stories of Michael Jordan at that time? They were literally going in and they, yo, dude, why are you doing this? Why are you still doing this? Why are you still giving on this effort? Why are you still practicing like this? Why the hell are you not sitting out any games, dude? They were asking why. They couldn't understand it at that age, why he was going through that stuff, dealing with the pain. That's what you hear from LeBron James. You're not hearing those stories, man. That's what made Michael Jordan go, man. I love the Wizards, Michael Jordan, man. Once again, thank you, Michael Jordan.
I agree. I completely agree.
You didn't get inspired by Wizards Jordan, man? I told you guys, I remember, man, I came back on leave, man, from the military, man. And I remember I came home on leave during the holidays. And Michael was running holiday time. And I remember we were going past this bar, this crowded bar, man. And everybody started going crazy, man. We didn't know what was going on in there. So we all went inside to see what was going on. And they were showing the highlights. Michael Jordan hit a game winner earlier in the night. And everybody was going crazy, reacting to Michael Jordan. This is in freaking New York, man. All right, this was Michael Jordan's Wizards Jordan, guys. He was still getting the game winners. He was still breaking Cleveland heart. He was still dropping 50 on the Knicks. He was still doing all of those things, man, because the Indiana Pacers, he was still going out there giving the same effort. He wasn't walking back on D like LeBron James. He wasn't blowing on his hands every chance he got, wiping his chest, standing in the corner. He was going toe-to-toe against Kobe. He was going toe-to-toe against KG. He was going toe-to-toe against Ray Allen, all them dudes, man. He didn't back down against none of them guys, man. He showed up and gave that effort. So we have those memories of Michael Jordan going out there and doing that. They don't take nothing away from his career and what he meant to the game and how he went out there and gave that effort. That ain't LeBron James. He ain't never been that guy. 37 minutes a night at 40 years old, man. 37 minutes a night.
And not for nothing, those Jordan Wizards years did give us Mariah Carey in that Wizards dress. So that was a win for everybody involved, whether you're a LeBron fan or not. So we need to be more thankful of that as well.
Amen to Speam on that.
Mm-hmm.
You think Mariah Carey is going to go out there singing in some ugly ass 76ers LeBron shirt? No. you might get I don't know.
He gonna get Nicki Minaj,
Glorilla, one of them.
He gonna get some weirdo with a fake booty,
some weirdo. Some goof.
Some goofy ass person out there, some tight ass pants on. Goodness gracious, man! You know how it is.
Gonna get
Come out there with a sleep mask.
Migos out there rapping. You better save this show, Cyberius, before we start talking about hip hop.
There's nothing wrong with talking about hip hop. Say it's not really. I don't know it as well as I know other music, but I still enjoy it.
It's all bad.
I mean, we are flying through these topics.
We got to talk about the opening day slate.
Oh, yeah. I was going to say, let's talk about the schedule.
Is there any way that you can get the schedule on the screen, Cyberius?
Yeah, let me see if I can find that real quick. Give me a second.
Yeah, no problem, man. We're working magic behind the scenes.
I was gonna say, but yeah, go ahead and
I'm gonna try to grab it too while you're doing that.
talk about it.
Yeah, man. So, once again, shout out to all you guys out there in the chat, man. Like I said, it means a lot. I mean, like I said, I can't believe, like I said, you guys always coming through, man. Shout out to Troy Black. I see you out there. Condo 111. I see you out there. Pink Lady Scorpio. Thank you very much. Shout out to you for always coming through. Lionel Jones. Much respect. Raider Nation again, man. I appreciate you guys. Jacob Gordon. Vision Darkly. Like I said, it means a lot, guys. Brandon Heyman. Clueless 9245. Shout out to you, Import AI. What's up, man? Again. Prozac.
Right, well, this is opening night. 76ers versus Knicks. That, oh, I can't even understand that.
It's fucking crazy. It's absolutely nuts.
Hey, wait, you there?
I'm here.
The Mountain Lions got him.
I'm here.
He's here. He's here.
It's a different
All right,
animal every time.
So I mean, listen, this is what we're talking about, man. This is the tip off his opening night for this season. And again, I mean, you see the matchups, and I know everybody immediately we saw online. Everybody's been talking about the Sixers and the Knicks. The New York press, they've been talking about the Knicks playing the Sixers. You know, it's going to be the ring night, the ring ceremony, and they'll be putting the banner up there. So a lot of times that team comes out a little bit flat, right? Because you're all wrapped up in the celebration. And again, we don't know what the lineups are going to be looking like. Is LeBron James going to be starting the season? Is he going to be out with the sciatica? Is he going to be out with the left foot arthritis? You never know. Joel Embiid, what his situation and stats will be for opening night. Some of these other players. But I see a lot of people, pumping up the Knicks for opening night.
Yeah, but you got Drummond now. I don't understand that one.
Andre Drummond, that's right. That's going to be the replacement for Mitchell Robinson loss. And I told you, I've never been a fan of Andre Drummond. But he, especially now, I mean, my goddamn, how old is Andre Drummond?
I know.
I mean, Andre Drummond like 10 years ago, yeah, you know what I'm saying? Even 5 years ago. But Andre Drummond now, I don't know what he got left as far as rebounding, because that's really all he was known for doing was rebounding.
I'm actually I'm hoping we see less of OKC on TV this year.
Yeah, me too.
Just generally, I'm hoping that the league just won't try to prop them up and won't try to prop SGA up anymore. So we'll see less and less of them. And again, from the sneakerhead front, SGA just went from being Converse's face of brand to he just got signed to Nike. So I'm going to be really Nike owns Converse. I know that, but he'll be Nike like exclusively. I'm really going to be interested to see what kind of calls he gets this upcoming season. But I could give a shit about like OKC as a team. Like they're old news to me now. I feel like, you know what I mean?
No, I agree.
It's how the kids keep up with their fashion trends when the OKC guys go to the podium.
Just disgusting.
Yeah,
it's disgusting. Shout out to whoever mentioned Chet. Chet better kill somebody, physically harm somebody on the court if he ever hopes on having any kind of manhood this year. He's got to put someone down on the ground this year. Otherwise, he's like, insert prison reference here. You know what I mean?
Listen, I mean, if we think about the Thunder, the Spurs, I mean, these are going to be competitive teams next season. I think a lot of these teams here that we see in this opening night are supposed to be competitive teams for the next season. The Detroit Pistons, the Celtics. When you talk about the Spurs versus the Thunder, you mentioned Chet Holmgren. What to me is going on, or what could end up being a possibility down the road here, going into next season and beyond, is this can start to be a mental thing for someone like Chet Holmgren. It could start to be one of those things where he sees the San Antonio Spurs and Victor Wembanyama, and he starts to get the migraines like Scottie Pippen, right? He starts to get all nervous, like the Detroit Pistons are coming to town, right? You start to get a little worried about a certain play. You start overthinking and thinking things about things too much. Because when you look at how Chet Holmgren played last season at Western Conference Finals. I mean, and this was the guy who finished runner-up to the Defensive Player of the Year, mind you, last season. That dude did not look good in the slightest. I mean, that was one of the most horrendous performances from a Defensive Player of the Year runner-up candidate that I've seen in a moment like that. I mean, this man just looked scared. He looked nervous. He looked like he had never played basketball before. He looked like he didn't know how to play defense. He looked like he was scared of my man Victor Wembanyama. He was terrified. And when you have SGA not playing that great, because let's be real, SGA didn't play great last year in the postseason. He wasn't MVP level last year. They were winning off the strength of their depth up until that final round. And SGA wasn't, MVP level, man. And he wasn't good enough to get them over the hump with that dude Chet Holmgren playing as scared as he was. So if this starts to be a mental thing for Chet Holmgren going against Victor Wembanyama, it's going to be a problem. It's going to be hard for him to overcome.
I mean, I remember watching last year when OKC played the Lakers and it was supposed to be the reigning MVP versus the GOAT, and it was some of the most boring basketball I had ever seen.
Hey, right, I mean, we talked about that series. Right. He wasn't great in that series, SGA. We talked about it a lot. Up until, like I said, the playoffs, he wasn't playing that great, but they were winning. And now listen, like I said, the Thunder are going to be a contender. They're going to be right there. Like I said, they had some injuries at the end of that playoff run, even though to me, Jalen Williams has been a little bit overhyped, I think, overall. But with him not being healthy and some of the other guys, what's his name, AJ Mitchell, these other guys, the injuries they had, it kind of, messed up some of the momentum. But to me, the Spurs, they're going to be a legit contender again. And when you talk about the Knicks versus Sixers, like I said, the Knicks are going to be out there doing their ring ceremony, hanging the banner, and oftentimes that hinders the team opening night. Now, I wouldn't be surprised if, like I said, if people are out of this game on both sides. It'll be interesting to see what the opening night roster or starting lineup is opening night.
Yeah.
I'm so much more interested in Celtics Sixers than I am like any other Eastern matchup. I feel like I more want to see Tatum and Brown go back and forth, because those two dudes got told to pretend like they like each other for multiple seasons, and you can tell they didn't. And I can't wait to watch them, both ball out, towards each other. I'm excited for that, like a consistent amount of those games. I could give a shit about LeBron being on that team. I think he's going to screw up, the natural kind of rivalry that can happen there. But and if I'm the Knicks, I'm just like, don't bring this circus in and fuck up our ring ceremony with this bullshit. Like, let us have our night. Why can't we have our ring ceremony? You got to bring in LeBron, and he'll wear his all gold shoe.
The commissioner,
he'll have his family there.
The commissioner is such a piece of shit. They'll probably have a 24th season thing.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah,
on the Knicks' night.
A new patch. Yep.
He'll have a patch. Yep, for it'll literally say unprecedented on it, and it'll say 24th season. And he'll get actual podium time to go up there and talk, but nobody from the Knicks will be able to say shit. That's exactly what's gonna happen.
The unpresidentiality.
Absolutely.
Yep. That's crazy. I didn't even think about that. Can't even give him one night. Can't give him one night.
They can't. Always has to be about him.
And and you know what's crazy is like, I'm sorry, go ahead, Cyberius.
No, go ahead.
No, go ahead. I'll read the super off. You gonna do the super?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. Shout out to Armando Ruiz for coming through as always. I can't help but think of how dirty LBJ did Russ. Shout out to Armando Ruiz again. We were talking about Russell Westbrook earlier. It's a sad day. Like I said, Russell Westbrook, if it is true that he's going to retire this season. Man, like I said, the man was getting death threats that season. He only played like 1.5 seasons with LeBron James, and the man was getting death threats. I mean, that's crazy. Remember, they had full segments on Shannon Sharp. Remember, and Skip Bates. They had full segments on their show highlighting all of Russell Westbrook's turnovers. Meanwhile, LeBron James had the same amount of turnovers, no video footage, no highlights of that. They were blaming everything on Russell Westbrook that season. So, shout out to Armando Ruiz. The thing that I was going to say before is that think about the Knicks, who are the defending champions. They have their opening night ceremony, the ring they haven't won in all these years. They get to celebrate opening night, and you bring LeBron James in and steal the thunder from the New York Knicks. this is what you do for the Knicks. You couldn't have put the Sixers versus some other team. Like you said, y'all couldn't do the Sixers versus Celtics on opening night and let the Pistons play the Knicks. The Pistons and the Knicks got a little rivalry going. Let the Pistons and the Knicks open up that night. But no, you got to put LeBron James out there with all the fanfare of New York City. Opening night, you just put LeBron James in there to put him up on a pedestal. Everybody could be like, so they're going to include all of that in one a show. Oh, LeBron James, unprecedented, like you said, the unpresidentiality of it. And then once again, taken away from the Knicks Thunder.
There's still basketball
I
to
hope
be
New
played.
York boos him.
That would be great. That would be great.
All right, Earn Your O2. Just a reminder to everybody, this is my brother.
Hello.
LeBron and Embiid going to be out with a serious docking accident. That's crazy. I don't know if you guys know what docking is, but don't Google it. Let me just tell you that.
Oh, goodness gracious. I don't know what that means, but don't sound good.
I'm not
nope.
gonna.
You don't-
I'm not going to.
you
I
don't
learned
wanna
that
be
one
part
with
of that.
Blue Waffle. You
So,
don't Google.
Who do you
things.
guys think of predictions? Anybody in the chat? You guys got predictions for opening night? All the games on the slate right here: Celtics, Pistons, Sixers, Knicks, OKC, Spurs. Who do you guys think is going to win the opening night? It's just the opening night game, guys.
Man, you know what they accomplished? They protected LeBron because enough people are going to tune in to celebrate with the Knicks.
Yep.
And it hides anyone not tuning in to see LeBron, because if the Sixers were playing another team, there's a
Right.
very good chance that it would be exposed that despite all the hype of this new super team, people just aren't interested. Like last year was a great beginning to the season with LeBron James on the bench. Well, let's not let anyone catch wind of that again. And let's not have anyone catch wind of people not tuning in to opening night of the 76ers, but there's no way they aren't going to tune in for the Knicks.
Exactly. Airwaits. Great point, man. Like I said, you hit it right on the head. That's what they're going to do. They're going to lump it all in there. And once again, you can't hide. You got hide LeBron James in the celebration of the Knicks. Man, you on the money.
But it's darker.
Who's the worst team in the East right now?
Hang on. It's darker.
Go ahead.
It's darker because you will have a couple months later when they're trying to defend LeBron James, you will have a Kendrick Perkins saying, look at how great the ratings were on opening night because of LeBron James. They will literally use it as evidence that he's still wanted and loved and great.
Right.
When they set it up.
That's what you just said, AOH, kind of refers me to me asking who the worst team in the East is, because my guess is to your point, they can hide everything you just said behind, the greatness that is the Knicks and their championship run. But whoever the Sixers play at home, it's gonna have to be a super trash ass team to make it seem like what LeBron doing there is immediately impactful, so they can talk about it. So I don't know who the trash teams are in the East right now, but I promise you that's who the Sixers end up playing game 2, 3, maybe games 2 through 4, or 2 through 5. Just like the worst teams ever. Get some momentum going, and that way they can say if it's great, it's because of him.
Well, Mr. Shanny 82 says Speam is always the Wizards. However, the Wizards have 80 and Trae Young. Are they
have
going to
80
be
and
as
Trae,
trash?
Yeah, and I think that's a good point there. Shout out to Mr. Shanny for coming through and mentioning the Wizards. And, the Wizards could be a quote-unquote dark horse next season if they, in fact, keep the players that they have on paper. Once again, the Wizards are an on-paper team.
Right.
That's what they are, on paper. It's the same thing for the Sixers. The Sixers are a great team on paper, right? But they haven't actually gone out there and done anything. When it's time for that paper to show up on the court, that's when the problems are going to happen. The same thing we talk about with LeBron James' resume on paper. LeBron James' resume, fantastic. He got one of the all-time great resumes on paper. But once you start checking out on that paper, and that thing disintegrates and it just falls apart quickly. So the Wizards are an interesting team with some of the players that they have, maybe some guys that we don't know that could be end up good. That could be in like their, prime season where you're like, oh, this guy just hit, a different level this season. He's another player, a different kind of player right now. What's Anthony Davis going to do on that team? Is he going to play for the team? How many games is he going to play? Trey Young, same thing. What's Trey Young going to be like? The Atlanta Hawks, to me, and also another team that has a lot of young talent. Remember, they were the only team that seemed to give the Knicks problems last season. They actually beat the Knicks twice in that first round before the Knicks went on that run, and they only ended up losing one other game after that. So the Atlanta Hawks, to me, could be an interesting team. I liked what the Charlotte Hornets were doing last season. To me, they were exciting to watch. They did get rid of LaMelo Ball, so I don't know what that's going to do for them as far as their, them recalibrating their starting lineup and what they're going to be doing or looking like. But there are some interesting teams. We talked about Cooper Flagg a lot last season, or I've made several videos about him last year anyway. And, it'll be interesting to see what he looks like in the second year, if Kyrie and Irving, in fact, is going to be coming back and playing, and what that's going to look like.
Yeah.
You guys, from opening night until Christmas, how many games do you think the Sixers play?
Ooh. I don't know.
This isn't as fucking 6. I'm just
Wait,
realizing
hold on. What?
That can't be right though, can it? I'm looking at the NBA schedule and we've got October 20th, 22nd, 30th, November 6th, 25th, 27th, and then it's Christmas. No, they're skipping all of Christmas. Wait,
yeah.
Okay, never mind. Something's wrong with this schedule here. Never mind. I was like, talk about not earning your money.
Right.
Yeah, but like you guys said, like you're mentioning, LH, it'll be interesting to see, how the schedule actually plays out. Like I said, because sometimes, people don't realize, I've told you before, it's not necessarily, the amount of games that they had off in between or the back-to-backs or whatever. But I told you there were many times over the last several seasons that you saw the Lakers play a team that was on the second half of a back-to-back when the Lakers were coming in on a 2-day rest. You saw that oftentimes. Right. So those are the things that I'm talking about and alluding to when we talk about how they assist LeBron James during the NBA season. Like LH was mentioning, they'll give these guys. I mean, remember last year, the Lakers did not leave the state of California for a month. So they played the Sacramento Kings, the Golden State Warriors, right? They played at home, right? They were playing all these home games, man, and games in the state of California. They didn't leave the damn state. So again, we talk about some of the things that have happened. We talk about the free throw advantage. That's interesting. We're going to see what happens for the Sixers next season when they were plus 48 last year, what they end up being this season.
But Robin, again, that's what makes the whole thing so frustrating, and what makes Adam Silver such a terrible, try not to swear, terrible piece of shit, is because he is out in our faces, playing on our faces, talking about, I can't do anything with the schedule until LeBron James says X, Y, and Z, right? So if you're flat out owning it in public like that, you're no longer trying to hide it, right? And we can talk about free throw differential for every LeBron James led team over the course of his entire career. It's no longer hard to get this information anymore, right? But yet it continues to happen. So, again, it goes back to, at what point does somebody, of a higher authority get involved? Because Adam Silver flat out waiting to, like, in my recollection of the NBA, I never remember the schedule being this big of a deal, right? Because you play the teams that are put in front of you. There's no razzle dazzle. There's no scheminess behind it. You just play who's in front of you. But now it's clear as day that there's manipulation taking place. And the fact that the NBA is treating the schedule release as a separate event, again, just further shows you where their head is. And it's disgusting.
Word. Exactly. No, you're on the money with that. You're right about that. I think we have one of these LeBron James weirdos. And of course, what's funny about you LeBron James guys, user YN9. It's always user something, something, something. You guys are all the same, man, because you have like 5 different channels and you get blocked by people because you harass people and you say weird things in the comment sections of people. And you're over here with the emotions and the nonsensical things, man. You know, you guys would never come out there and make videos and put yourselves on camera and talk basketball. You guys come out here and you get upset because we're, again, setting the record straight on LeBron James and a lot of this stuff that's been going on over the last 10, 15 years. You guys don't like. Again, all I have to do is bring up something as simple as the NBA All-Star game. And there's nothing that you can talk to me about. There's nothing you can tell me. You've never seen an NBA All-Star game. You've never actually seen an NBA All-Star game. That's how a lot of you LeBron James weirdos are, man. You guys are not real fans of basketball. Remember that. We're out here setting the record straight and holding the standard on basketball, the history of the game. We're setting the record straight on all you little clowns out here that want to come out here and cry and moan and say weird things to people. Again, and you want to make it emotional. That's fine, man. But again, remember, you guys are the fools here. We're laughing at you fools.
It's true. Let me get to a few of these supers real quick. Pablo Gito coming through as always. MJ was transcending while LeBron is only transactional. Also, if my life was at stake or my family and I needed current LeBron or NASCAR Jordan to hit 2 free throws, give me Jeffrey all day. I mean, I'm going with NASCAR Jordan.
Shazam Shaquille O'Neal before you give me fucking LeBron shooting free throws. Shout out to my guy 24 Rapture. I didn't see him in there. Shout out. That's it. I'm not finishing that statement. Shout out.
Right. Sports and Fitness Rants. I was going to say, you want to read this one?
Yeah. Shout out to McAvey, the Don, for coming through as always, a true supporter of our live shows. Thank you very much. Let's just guess how many free throws the 4 and 6ers will get because of the Queen. Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, it's going to be interesting to see when you talk about the things, because remember, the promotion of Michael Jordan in the LeBron James debate is that Michael Jordan got all the calls, right? So in turn, you would think that Michael Jordan was always going to the free throw line. In turn, his team was always going to the free throw line because his team, they always got the calls. That's a promotion. But I've told you guys, I've done the numbers on this. It's not even, guys, the Bulls were always in the bottom in free throws attempted, always on the bottom. You know what the Bulls did, guys? They played really good defense, guys. That's what made them and helped them win those championships, man. Playing defense, man. They didn't create a lot of fouls. They didn't cause a lot of fouls. They played great defense, man. And they didn't get a lot of fouls called in their favor, guys. Go look at the numbers, man. I've told you guys, even in the finals, overall, the Chicago Bulls in 6 NBA finals are negative at the free throw line, guys. So again, man, please spare me with Michael Jordan got all the calls. He never got the fouls called. If Michael Jordan could do anything out there, man, we saw Michael Jordan get called for travels, I was just watching a game the other day in the 1991 NBA Finals, Game 3 in LA. The Bulls are down, and Michael Jordan makes a move to the basket with his left hand around Vlade Divac. He finishes like this. They call Michael Jordan on a push-off in the NBA Finals on a push-off when his arm is like this against his body, and he makes the foul. Did Michael Jordan go up and down the court and start going crazy? Did he carry on to the referee while the play was going on behind him? No, he took it in stride and went down the court. But these are things that we saw Michael Jordan deal with, but he got all the calls.
I tell you what, I'm actually surprised at some of the things that they called on Jordan. I would have thought, you know what, maybe I'm going to have to swallow a little pride here. And when I rewatch this, I'm going to see that Jordan, did get the benefit of the call. Damn, dude. Some of the shit they called on him, I can't believe he was the face of the league.
Yeah.
It's not what you fanboys have been led to believe. And if any of you would take the time to actually look at reality instead of just spreading propaganda the second you have propaganda to spread, it would be nice.
Exactly. That's a great point, AOH, when you're talking about, the officiating standard that was there. Did Michael Jordan get superstar level treatment? Abso-freaking-lutely. No one's saying that Michael Jordan didn't get calls. He didn't get away with any travels. They called every travel against Michael Jordan. No one's saying that. That's not what we're saying here. Everybody gets away with things, man. The superstar players get put to another treatment, right? We absolutely get this stuff. But the point that we're making here is the promotion, what they're trying to say now. Once again, they're trying to rewrite the history. When the reality showed it took LeBron James damn near 10 full seasons to pass Michael Jordan in personal freaking fouls. How does it take you 10 years to pass Michael Jordan fouls? Go look at how many times they call LeBron James for a foul on average versus Michael Jordan, guys. It's night and day, guys. And I thought LeBron James a big guy. I thought LeBron James playing power forward and center. He's banging down low. They ain't calling no fouls on that dude. Those illegal screens, all these things that Airways is talking about, they not calling no things on LeBron James because they're treating him like the face of the league. Meanwhile, Michael Jordan's getting called for travels that weren't travels. He's getting called for carries that were questionable. He's getting called for offensive fouls in the NBA Finals that were clearly not offensive fouls. All right, these are the kinds of things we're talking about. We've highlighted that Bill Laimbeer slam dunk many times. Michael Jordan slam dunks the ball. Guys, that's the Eastern Conference Finals. He two-hand fouls Michael Jordan, and there's nothing called against Bill Laimbeer, guys. When they talk to you guys about the Detroit Pistons, and Isaiah Thomas says, oh, Michael Jordan went to the league and was crying and moaning about blah, 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 blah. He's once again creating a false narrative here, guys. Michael Jordan never did anything. It was actually the other way around. The NBA, guys like Isaiah Thomas, they went to the league and started complaining about the young Michael Jordan, who was leading the league in free throw attempts that season. How the hell is this guy leading the league in free throws? Who is this guy? How the hell does he get this kind of treatment already? He's not on our level. He just came in the league. Michael Jordan never led the league in free throws ever again after that season, man. But they'll tell you, oh, it's Jordan complaining. No, what the problem was is that people were going and saying, why are we allowing the Detroit Pistons to clothesline Larry Bird? Why are we allowing the Detroit Pistons to cheap shot Magic Johnson? Why are we allowing the Detroit Pistons to grab Michael Jordan's legs when he's in midair? We shouldn't be allowing them to do these things to the game's greatest players that everyone's coming to watch. So people were saying, yo, these guys are playing dirty, man. It wasn't about Jordan. These guys were out there trying to hurt Jordan. They were doing all of this stuff. Meanwhile, they were getting all the calls. Yo, in the 89 Eastern Conference Finals, Michael Jordan was called for more fouls against him than everybody on the court, including the Pistons. He had more fouls called against him than Bill freaking Laimbeer. But you're going to sit here and tell me, Jordan, they always gave him the calls. Get the hell out of here, man.
Robin, the craziest part about everything that you just said is you don't even have to go far back. You don't have to go as far back as Jordan to explain the contrast there. Steph Curry, present day, is getting manhandled up and down the court. Like I know it's hyperbolic, right? But if he were to get the calls that LeBron always got, we're having a completely different conversation about championships, scoring titles, all of it. Like, I think that that's very fair to say. But it's easy to sit here and have that argument now because we can all, I think, fairly say he should be the face of the league. And he has the worst whistle by far. It's probably not close, right? So how can we expect the league to treat who should be the face of the league the same? Now, they certainly weren't going to do it for Jordan. You see how they're treating Jordan now. They're pissing all over his quote-unquote ghost. It just seems like the end is in sight, and I think it's all because of this present-day commissioner just allowing it to happen.
Well, yeah, and I think he's going to be here. I know he just signed a contract fairly recently.
Yep, he did.
So he's not going anywhere anytime soon.
It's everyone's responsibility, man. I say the same thing all the time. When someone sends me a clip, shout out to all the supporters out there that send me stuff and ask me to make videos on some of these things. When someone sends me a clip of some random podcast, right, and they got some ex-NBA player on there, or it's just two goofy-ass dudes talking about whatever, what lets me instantly know how, how valuable or how much I can gain from your podcast is based off of what you allow people to say. If your podcast is worth a damn as the host, then you shouldn't and you cannot allow people to come on your show and create false narratives and lie and rewrite the history. But what happens far too many times is we allow people to come on there, and because they are who they are, and we don't want to maybe step on their toes or hurt their feelings, whatever the case may be here, we let people say things, we let people lie on a microphone, on a random podcast. No one corrects it. I have a problem with that stuff. All right. Your show is not worth a damn if you let people come on your show and say nonsensical things. All right. You can't have people saying crazy things. All right. And just lying about the past. There should be some level of restraint that has to be, there's got to be some resistance here. There has to be someone that's going to say, hey, man, listen, what you just said right there is crazy. But they'll let people just come on their on a microphone and say some nonsense.
No, it's gross.
I mean, listen.
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say, like, when I first came on YouTube and I was doing some of these shows with some of these guys, I had never met. I didn't know these guys like that. Once again, shout out to my man Michael Jordan, fans are the best. This dude Rex, NNB Sports. There was a guy, the Minnesotan, or I can't remember the bearded Minnesotan. There were some guys, the OG or something OG. There were some guys that Judge SP. I didn't know these guys. So, there came scenarios in times where they might say something and they thought that they were saying something factual. They thought maybe they made a great point and, they felt that what they said was on the money, whatever. There were many times where I butted heads with a lot of these guys and I was cool with them, right? But I wasn't going to let them just say something, that I didn't think was accurate historically. So I would push back on a lot of this stuff. So there would oftentimes, I would develop a reputation as I have now, as being someone who's aggressive or someone who's loud or, someone who's going to maybe get in your face, so to speak. And it's only because I'm not going to stand by any longer and have people, if I'm on a panel with somebody and let someone say some nonsense and I'm just going to be like, oh, okay, yeah, well, that's their opinion. No, your opinion ain't worth a damn. Your opinion don't make no sense. So that's why in the past I bumped heads with guys like Scap Attack on some of his views and some of the things he's had to say. I push back on this stuff. I'm not going to let you say some crazy stuff.
Who's the bearded Minnesotan? I'm taking that name.
Back
I think I might change my name to that. I'm changing my name to that.
Do it. I'm going to hold you to it now.
The bearded Minnesotan. I'm taking that. Has nothing to do with me. I'm taking it.
Once again, shout out to the bearded Minnesota, man, from back in the day. Shout out to Hoop God, man.
Yeah, I haven't seen him in a while.
Yeah, shout out to Hoop God.
So he commented on one of my videos a few months ago, but I've never heard from him since then.
Shout out to all those guys, man.
It's too bad.
Shout out to everybody in the chat, man. Appreciate you guys again coming through.
I can't wait to start playing the what if game when the Sixers start to lose and we start to ask ourselves, what injury is he going to pretend? Is it going to be an injury? Is it going to be a family problem? Is it going to be a mental health crisis? Like what's the reason going to be why the team just can't seem to mesh well? I'm very much looking forward to that.
I can't wait until he sits out. The Sixers go on a winning streak and it's completely forgotten. Just like happened with the Lakers year after year.
It's like with the Lakers, yeah. Hey, listen, when he sat out and you could see them let me be Stephen A. See them white boys high-fiving each other and having fun and making the right play and running the fucking the Mighty Duck, weave in and out bullshit. Like they were having the time of their lives when he was sitting down. And the second he came back, everyone started looking pissed off again.
Word.
The flying V. That's what I meant. The flying V. Damn.
There's something that I've always found interesting. And I'm Mexican and Indian, so I never really gave a shit, but I always thought it was funny. White boys is fine. If I started calling people black boys, there's going to be a fucking problem.
That's true.
Yeah.
Why is one okay and the other's not?
How much time do you have?
I got all the time in the world.
How do we go there?
Gotta get a wish to finish watching Life first.
It doesn't matter.
It's about the energy. It's about the energy you're giving out, man. Right? What kind of energy you putting out here when you say these phrases, you make these statements, man. It's gonna come with the reaction, the response that you get. And I always tell you guys, and we've said this before, man. Everybody wants to be able to say what they want to say. And do what they want to do. And that's all fine and great until you have to deal with the consequences of what you said or did. All right. And don't be out there playing the victim because someone slapped you in your face because you said something crazy to them that you thought you could say to somebody because you have that right to say whatever you want to say. Yeah, if you have the freedom to say it, they have the freedom to respond to what you said. Like I said, you have the freedom to get the response. All right. So remember those kinds of things, man. All right. People be out here, talking crazy, acting crazy, and then be like, oh, why did that dude get so angry? Why is he so upset, man? Because you out here is talking reckless.
Well, because people make the misguided assumption that freedom of speech means freedom of consequence. It's not free of consequence.
Right. Yeah.
You can say what you want. but you may get slapped in the face. You may get punched in the mouth.
But you know what? Also, not for nothing, Cyberius, and I noticed this in the comments here and there too. Like, if everybody and myself on this panel, if we legitimately had some kind of animus towards each other on a racial level, interpersonal level, whatever, do you think we'd really waste our times to come together twice a week, 3 times a week and talk? Like think about that for a minute. So, for everyone that's, says, well, AOH racist colonizer or whatever, like, I joke about that because it's just funny. He's obviously not that, right? Like, Cyberius wore friggin' red face paint last week. Like, we're in a space where we're comfortable enough to take these jabs at each other. I don't actually think these things. I think that's like the entire point is that we're in a space where we can like make these comments and make these jokes and feel cool about it. Because at the end of the day, it's like, they obviously rock with me and I rock with them. So who cares? Who cares past that?
Remember, it ain't. I'm sorry, go ahead, Cyberius.
No, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say it's not only or just about someone doing some physical harm to we joke around and people be yo man, you say something to me, I'll knock you out, blah blah blah. You have to be careful what people are gonna do to you physically, and you putting yourself in a dangerous situation. But also the repercussions of people filming you doing these things or saying these things, and all of a sudden now maybe you lost your job now. Now all of a sudden maybe your marriage is in trouble, man. Maybe your wife or your husband find out who you really are in your spare time. That scene from National Security, right? When she left him because she found out he was beating up black men on his day off, right? And that was the whole thing. And she was like, yo, I never beat this guy, man. And he was like, you're lying and all these things, man. So you never know how this will affect you overall. Like I said, just as far as your personal life, man, all of a sudden you can't live in your neighborhood anymore, man, because everyone knows what you said. Everyone knows what you did because the video went viral and everyone put you out there. I mean, there's a lot of people out there that literally have channels dedicated to finding the bigots, finding the racist people out there, finding these crazy people out there and putting them on full blast on social media, man. So like I said, they'll write emails to your job. All of a sudden, man, they write emails to your kid's school. They're like, yo, just so you know, man, this dude right here, out of his mind, man. These are the kind of people you have employed at your business. And people don't want to be associated with a lot of this stuff, man. So again, man, watch what you say, who you say it to. Because again, I've told you, man, people are crazy out there, man.
I mean, I'm not going to lie. I thought about, not that I'm really worried about losing anything, but just somebody taking a screenshot of me in red face, not knowing that I am Indian. And I mean, never mind. I'm going to dig myself a hole.
Man, no one even knew what the hell you were doing, man. I didn't even know you were on the damn show. Right. I don't even think we even talked about it. No one even knows it. Right now, you're talking about, I forgot about it, man. Like I said, it's not a thing like that. I don't even, like I said, no, I thought you had maybe just some weird lighting going on. You know what I'm saying?
I was going to say, you look just like that to me the entire time I've ever known you. So
I was like, oh, it must be the red drapes in the background that's hitting the light. It's coming off at a certain angle.
You sounded the same. Mannerisms were the same. Everything was the same.
Come on, man. But we talked about this kind of stuff. That's not racism. Like I said, you think changing the logo of the Redskins is gonna, all of a sudden that's what we needed in the world to make the stop?
This is why I did.
Them getting rid of the logo of the Cleveland Indians is what they needed to do. They needed to change the logo because that was really affecting the overall unity of America. I told you we got rid of Mrs. Butterworth and Aunt Jemima. All these people all of a sudden is a problem to promote this stuff. I don't get this. It's not helping us come together here.
One of the things that I always found funny, especially about the Chief Wahoo hat, which I'll put on if I have to, is I at least felt seen in the sports community with that. And then they took it away. And now they're called the Guardians. Well, you know what? I no longer feel seen. Thank you for that.
Yo, good point, Cyberius. And listen, and I respect them changing. I mean, listen, like I said, we can go down the road here and talk about all kinds of things here. But see, again, this is about you being on the wrong side of history. This is what we're talking about. When you make these crazy statements to people and people videotape it and it goes viral and you lose your job, why is that? Because you're on the side of the majority? No, because you're on the side of the minority. most people are not thinking and believing the way that you're talking and the things that you're saying. Most people are not going to get down with that stuff. If you were in the majority, you wouldn't have lost your job. People wouldn't have felt a certain way about you. All of a sudden, your family wouldn't be looking at you at the side eye when you came home that day. When they saw you on the YouTube video and your kids got to go to school and they see their fathers are racist or their fathers out there telling people to go back to their country and say all kinds of weird things. I mean, it's weird stuff out here. Like I said, that people will say to people, listen, guys, I was in the military. I went to 2 deployments, and I have been told to go back to my country. Guys, I was born in New York City, man. All right? So I don't know where they want me to go, but I fought to be here. I fought to be here. And then people have told me to go back to my country. Now, I don't know where they thought I was from. I don't know what nationality they thought I was. But I've been told this multiple, many times in my life. I've been called the N-word multiple times by people I thought were friends with me, people I worked with, all the different kinds of things, man. So again, we've all been through a lot of these things and been in these scenarios. And a lot of this stuff is losing meaning. I was never upset, or what I'm hearing is that it was never a big deal for a lot of these things that we turned into a big deal. But when you have people out there doing crazy things and saying things, and then you turn around and you get the repercussions that came with that, like I said, this is on you.
Right.
What was the topic that got us here?
I don't know, but it turns out my brother was deeply offended by the red face.
See, well, your brother, I mean, listen, that's a personal thing right there.
Yeah, you did red face?
I told you, I didn't even realize what was going on. I didn't know what we were doing. I thought, like I said, I didn't recognize. I didn't know if it was some kind of facial mask thing that you had going on. You never know what people are doing these days. Maybe you had some acne or something was going on. You said you had a brain injury. I ain't going to mess with you, man. You want to wear some red paint? Then you do what you got to do, man. You had a freaking brain injury, man.
Damn.
God damn. I'm going to cut you some slack on that.
All right, Carl Harv coming through. No, Pablo Torre finds out investigation of clutch, huh? Yeah, right.
A very specific formation of poor cloggage on your face.
Oh my gosh, man. Oh, listen, man. These conversations need to be had. Things need to be said sometimes, right? And when we talk about, you know, like we were mentioning before, right? The repercussions, you know, the consequences of what you do, but they can also be from you doing something positive. You know, I've told stories about my life on my channel, and I've told you guys about situations that I got myself into because I was standing up for somebody else. And I've told you guys, I had to be prepared for the situation I put myself in by standing up for this person in that manner. So I've told you guys and told stories when I was in high school, and my friend his family was from India, and he got bullied, you know, by kids, man, because of his family background and things of that nature, right? And, you know, there was a time that I had to stand up against a bully for him. And what ended up happening to me, I had to physically fight somebody because I was standing up for my friend who couldn't fight for himself. So I had to deal with those consequences from the actions that I put myself in. So oftentimes or sometimes in our lives, we're going to have these situations that are going to arise, and we have to make a decision. Are we going to put ourselves out there for somebody else, to help somebody, once again, to contribute to society?
Say, are you guys on a time frame or anything?
I got like 15 minutes.
15 minutes?
Yeah, no,
okay.
no. Time stops once Robin starts yelling, so I'm good.
I saw a basketball show is in the chat. I dropped him the link in case he wants to join us for a few. Real quick, as a transition, I actually want to hear that Uncommon Sense track again, so I'm gonna play that real quick.
Oh yeah, hit that.
Welcome to the land of reality, where the truth will be heard, and we don't give a damn about your feelings. So stomp your feet, cry if you want to, scream and shout, because we don't give a damn, fam.
Cyberius, I appreciate you making me look like Luke Cage, but we'll probably have to stop that.
Yo, I swear,
Yeah.
man, Common Sense got that 90s West Coast. I told you, Nate Dogg, vibe, man. We got to get him on the dog pound.
All right, so Ertin Euro 2 coming through yet again. I'm a 250-pound Mexican Indian that looks like a Greek Arab. Call me whatever you want. Couldn't hurt my feelings more than my dad did when I was a toddler. And I can confirm that. My dad went hard when I was 3.
Respect.
Shout out to you guys, man. Again, thank you for coming through. The true love, right? The true love right there.
Is your brother a basketball fan, Cyberius? Is he going to chime in during the season?
No. He
All right,
watched
next
basketball
topic.
for a short. No, he's not. He may pay
Okay.
attention, here and there, but not really.
Okay.
Basketball show said he might try, but he's driving, so there might be noise. I don't care if there's noise. I call in.
Yeah, we just heard AOH call in from inside a spaceship. So
Yeah, we got to get him on here at the beginning of one of our shows if we can. If he can ever, get free on a Wednesday morning or afternoon. I'm not sure where he is. But yeah, we can get him on here for one of these shows. That'd be great.
I will. I'll definitely see if I can orchestrate that. Low Swan 9, y'all speak on Russell Westbrook retiring today. We did hit on that.
shit's not right. It's not right. It's like, I get, Robin, I think you put it in such great context. We're listening to a Ben Simmons possible comeback story,
right,
in the same breath as Russell Westbrook having to retire. That is like the definition of injustice.
Yep.
Yeah, again, man, a shout out to Russell Westbrook. Again, like I said, for the career that he had, and like I said, unfortunately, he never won a championship, and it kind of ended that way. But yeah, shout out to him.
Paul, how you doing? Can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you. How do you hear me?
Yeah, you sound fine.
Yes.
All right, good. No background noise?
Very little.
No, you're good.
Okay.
Not too
All
bad.
right, I got a good mic, I guess, but I'm driving, so I can't really look at the screen or anything, but I can definitely join the conversation as long as the signal holds up.
All good.
Yeah, I was
Looks
gonna
just
say,
like
make
dash
sure you
cam
keep
footage.
your eyes on the road.
Look just like dash cam footage. Keep that going.
That's it. So what are you guys talking about today?
I mean, we touched on a whole bunch of different stuff. We kind of got a little bit sidetracked on
You there?
face and me doing red face, but we can certainly move on. We can move on from that.
He went to Speam Engine Broadcast School. Hey, what do you think about the opening night games?
I think I posted a video on my channel too. What I hate about it is they're making everything about LeBron again. It's like the tickets at Madison Square go $2,000, the cheapest ticket. It's all thanks to LeBron, but nobody takes into consideration that it's freaking a championship night. The rings are getting handed out. The banner is being raised after 53 years in New York. Like, these people are stupid.
Yo, that's amazing, Paul. We were talking about that very sentiment, man. You're on the money with that. When you talk about how they're hijacking the Knicks championship by making it about LeBron James and the ticket prices, man. That's insane.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, but, they're going for clicks. They're going for what's bringing them the money, and they're still milking the golden goose, I guess.
I'm for sure.
But doesn't that make it even that much worse that if you're gonna milk something, milk the terrible, like, shitty part of the product, right? Like milk a Hornets game, milk a Nets game. Don't milk the championship. Like, don't milk this. Like, if you're gonna attach LeBron to something, don't attach it to the one. We talked about this earlier. Don't attach it to the one team that's celebrating, the definition of why they're there to play.
Yeah, I agree. But to be honest with you, they would have to have some shame, and they have no shame. That's why they do what they do.
Oh, you're right about that. They have absolutely zero shame.
Yep. It's just, I get it. The tickets might have been raised a little bit because Philadelphia is an interesting team overall. They changed a lot of the players on the team. You got Jaylen Brown, and everybody's wondering how that team's going to play. So that's interesting. but it's a championship night for the Knicks, and that's the most important part of it. That's what should be talked about.
Yep, exactly.
It's just the blatant stealing of their thunder.
Yeah.
It feels like they're marginalizing their championship, and that's not okay.
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, I think the next 2 seasons, however long this dude's going to play, everything, including ESPN, because you guys know that ESPN is in conversation with them. They're going to produce his documentary. They're going to create as much of the narrative for that documentary in the upcoming 2 seasons that we're all going to be puking because of it, you know?
For sure.
Hey, Paul, let me ask you a question.
Listen,
what do you think about? Okay. What do you think about the Knicks playing with expectations as the defending champ this coming season?
Listen, Knicks have been my team since the 1990s, early 90s. I've been a Knicks fan since 1991, I think. Bad years, the years where you have photos of fans with bags over their head and all that shit. I mean, never wavered. I've changed states. I don't live in New York anymore. And to be honest with you, I think the Knicks are in good position to defend the title. I think they got a nice, evenly built team, and I think they can defend it. You know, they're a good team coming into the season, as long as they stay healthy like last season.
Yeah, absolutely. I think their core, when you talk about Brunson, Karl Anthony Towns, Anunoby, Hart, Bridges, like these guys, like you said, the core of the Knicks, like you said, they're built, like you said, for the longevity, for the long haul here.
No, hell yeah. I mean, the good thing, what I like about the Knicks is there's no egos. There's zero egos. It doesn't matter which game, one guy carries, one game another guy carries. Yeah, Brunson is the main guy, but if he doesn't have his game for the night, he has no problem deferring to other players, and they take on the responsibility and they get buckets.
Right.
One, I really think that Brunson needs to get more credit for taking less money to put them in the position that they are.
Oh, 100%. 100%.
Yeah,
unlike Carmelo talking about he doesn't get it.
You saw the video where Carmelo Anthony was complaining, right?
But I was just about to say,
Yeah, that was 2 years ago, though. It was before they won the title.
Right.
But still, the main reason he has no chip, because he would never sacrifice things like that. I mean, he made the Knicks trade for him, even though he refuses it, where they had to trade away half their young core that was developing into a good team. And then he was complaining he's got no bench.
Yeah. Right, exactly. Yeah, I thought that was really odd of Carmelo Anthony saying those kinds of things and then kind of coming back, like you said, a couple of years later and kind of biting him in the butt, so to speak. And it makes, you open your eyes and really think about, the sacrifice that he wasn't willing to ever really make at that level.
100%. Yep. I agree. I agree.
It's the price you pay. Not only to your team, but to your reputation.
And what was funny is when that conversation was happening, you had Draymond Green come on the 5. He was talking to somebody. I think he was on 520 maybe with Jeff Teague. And then he was on his podcast and he was saying, the main star shouldn't take a pay cut, but the role player should take a pay cut like I did. Then I researched like how much of a pay cut did he actually take? And it was like $3-4 million. That's the pay cut he took. So if you get a role player that's making, little money, take a pay cut, what is that going to help the team to build around? Right. What are you going to have, an extra $4 freaking million?
Yeah.
Well, that's almost moot if you think about it, because if you remember, it was either LeBron's first or second season, he took a quote unquote pay cut for right around $3.5 million.
Yeah. I remember that.
Of course, right. But the way they spun it was no, he's not about that. He is about the team. He'll give this back, but also make, $46 million guaranteed and then $49 million guaranteed the season after.
Yeah.
So it just depends on how they spin it. And the most wildest part is Brunson will forever go down as a New York hero, right? And that's cemented. Melo to this day still talks about how he wishes he was. And I still remember going back and watching his little, his hoodie Melo moment, when all of his best highlights were him playing, just like a Dykeman and on courts and all this. he was always more worried about his public perception, and that's why he doesn't have a chip. It shows now. Even when LeBron tried to bring him in with this whole, it's our time. Now is our time to do this, blah, blah, blah. You weren't trying to play with Melo when he was at his peak. You're only trying to play with him now because you can get him for the cheap. And the whole thing is just more narrative. It's gross. It's just more just disgustingness.
You see, what was interesting during that conversation too is there was a lot of, there was other people coming out that, it was a bad thing that Brunson took less money. I don't remember the names of the players anymore, but there was other people criticizing him for it. And then, if you don't do that with the current way that everything is structured, it's hard to build a team where you can win something. Second of all, everybody's saying, the why do players have to sacrifice and not the actual teams and team owners? Now, not every team owner is sacrificing, I agree. But if you take the Golden State Warriors, for example, I believe it's either the last 20 years or the last 10 years, because I looked into that. You had Curry never take a pay cut, but they actually ended up paying over $600 million in luxury tax. Wow. So they're taking a hit too. It's not the same thing. They're making a lot more. They're sacrificing a lot more. But the luxury tax they paid is more than Curry made over his whole freaking career.
And it's funny that you say that. It actually makes me think about what we talk about, how they really never got significant amount of help for Steph Curry in the second part of his career. So it makes you wonder where all that money is going to besides just Steph Curry, because y'all ain't getting a goddamn player out there. You giving all this money to Draymond Green. You giving all this money to players that are not doing a damn thing out there on the basketball court for the Golden State Warriors, man.
Yeah, I agree with that. See, if you would have sacrificed $50 million or something on his last contract, he would have had more help. He could have won another title. Nobody knows.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's a great point, though, about, like I said, the luxury tax that the Golden State Warriors franchise was willing to pay all of these years, as opposed to other teams, because Dolan wasn't going to pay a damn thing like the Golden State Warriors organization was willing to pay. And that was part of the reason, I'm sure, part of the thought process for someone like Jalen Brunson. It's like I said, he's not going to be willing to go that far or like that over the luxury tax to bring a team in there.
Yeah, but listen, these guys sometimes they lose connection to reality. Like if you have a contract that's $200 million, and then you have a contract that's, let's say, $120 million. Over your lifetime, either contract which you're going to get, when you have sponsorships added to that, when you're investing your money and you're spending it smart and all that, you got generational wealth anyway. Your kids are not going to worry about money. What the fuck is in your mind?
Yeah, that's another good point, because one of the things that Carmelo Anthony said in that same clip was he said that people aren't making $100 million off the court. And I think that when he's saying those kinds of things, who's he talking about? The regular, everyday people? Yeah, maybe for me, it's hard to make $100 million. But for someone like Jalen Brunson, who's playing in New York City, who's the best player on the basketball team, $100 million is within reach of Jalen Brunson, man. When you talk about the celebrity, and plus, the championship, now you think that's not going to be rolling in off the court money for Jalen Brunson, man? You got college kids making money, man, when they wasn't making money years ago. So the money is out there. You got people on YouTube making all kinds of money. All they got to do is the podcast now, these guys.
Robin, the other thing about it is, though, I think a lot of these articles, we're seeing a lot of athletes come out. I saw Odell Beckham was in the news recently talking about how the money breaks up differently once you get paid it. It's almost like these articles are being put out intentionally to piss off like the 9-to-5ers, the paycheck to paycheck guys, right? Because we're sitting here and reading these stories about millionaires and billionaires talking about how it hits different once the taxes take a turn. And you got Melo out here talking about how it hits different because money has to go here, here, and here. But we're not trying to listen to that, because we have bills to pay. We have everyday real life responsibilities we need to work with. I almost think that these stories are put out here intentionally to just further keep us divided. Whereas you see someone who does take a sacrifice, we're not going to hear about that often, even though Brunson took a sacrifice and got the one thing that an athlete chases as a direct result. But that's not the story.
Yeah, nobody actually praises him. And nobody actually praises him, but they do what you're saying. They're going to criticize him instead of praising him because he did the right. They're going to criticize him and try to make him look bad. It's just stupid.
Sure. I mean, I just did a video where.
Do you guys know? Like, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I just had a question because I know that Wemby taken a pay cut recently. What did he actually take? Did he take a pay cut, or am I wrong?
Now, I think they claim he took a pay cut. Let me see if I can find it real quick.
I'm curious what he did.
I remember hearing Kendrick Perkins saying something about him taking less money or that he didn't sign for the max money that he could have got.
Right. I wonder what he left on the table, because if he left a substantial amount and he did it after Brunson, him seeing what Brunson did, he uses that as an example, does the same thing because it gives him a bigger chance to win, you know?
Right, exactly.
Yeah, apparently he took a $50 million pay cut. I mean, he still made $252 million.
And Nike's also
yeah, but
giving
50 million is 50 million. That's a decent chunk of money right there.
For sure.
Yeah. And like you said, he's got the Nike deal now. He's got his shoe coming out.
Yeah.
I see the advertisements. So he's going to be making the shoe money. He's going to be making the off-the-court money. Listen, man, if you got that's the problem with these fools. These guys ain't got no damn personalities, man. Y'all ain't got no charisma. If you got some personality, look at Charles Barkley. The man's making 1 billion times more money off the court after his career than he did when he played in the league. And Charles Barkley got charisma, got personality, man. If these guys had personalities like that, then they could be marketed. It's so easy now for them to get these deals because it's all available. They're not trying to open these doors for the next generation. Those doors are already open for these guys. All they gotta do now is walk through them, man. So the money is gonna be there for Victor Wembanyama, man. He gonna make that money like no problem, man. These guys can do all kinds of podcast appearances, all kinds of stuff these guys can do to make money off the court.
Well, and
yeah, hopefully they're not gonna. But hopefully they're gonna do what Kawhi did, because Kawhi signed the contract and he didn't do shit for it.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, I wish Pineapple Midrange was here because he really knows the ins and outs of all of the endorsement deals and the incentives that players get, especially to not play. So he would really be able to break that down. But I mean, yeah, Wembanyama's not just making $252 million. He'll probably be making in the neighborhood of $500 million with all of his endorsements, which that far exceeds generational wealth. That's your grandkids aren't going to have to worry about
here's
money.
the scariest part about what you're saying, Cyberius, is, you know, again, you and I as the sneakerheads, Ja Morant right now has the #1 selling Nike, right? That's only because Victor Wembanyama's first prototype hasn't come out yet. So once that happens, his off the court money is going to be unlimited, especially on the international market. It's going to be really interesting to see if he still is, you know, wants to play basketball when it's all said and done.
Well, Wembanyama already has a pair of shoes out. My brother has them, the Aliens.
Right.
And they now sell for like $1,000 because they've all sold out.
Oh, I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw the ad. It was him standing there with a bunch of nuns. And what they're saying is that the only thing you can do against them is pray.
Right.
It was a pretty cool ad, if I'm being honest.
They're nice shoes.
Yeah,
I mean, listen, the interesting
the
thing
nuns
about
that were going to his
team. Right. Yeah, the shoes and the games of the players, right? And like you said, you know, a lot of these guys might have some nice shoes, so to speak. But are you going to really wear their shoes? Are you going to put your feet in their sneakers, man? That's the hard sell for me with some of these guys. I don't want to put my foot in some of these guys' shoes. Like LeBron James shoes. You don't see a lot of people wearing his shoes. You want to set your foot inside LeBron James shoes. You know, the interesting thing about Victor Wembanyama is that he's getting all this money and he's getting all these deals, and the man doesn't even have to play 75, 80 games a season. He don't got to play every game. He can miss all these games and still get the recognition and still get all the money as somebody that's out there giving that max effort all those games.
Yeah.
Well, and that's why
I wonder
I
how
was talking about.
hold up.
A lot of the time they're incentivized not to play because when they don't play, they can talk about what if. It's off of the potential greatness that they could have had in that game. And they're literally monetarily incentivized to do that.
John Morant's entire marketing campaign is built off what if dunks. His entire marketing campaign is built on coulda, woulda, shoulda posters.
Yeah.
ESPN has fallen so far, the NBA has fallen so far that they highlight, again, I hate this term, they highlight the sellies. They highlight the almost dunks, the crossovers and then a miss, the hockey assists. They highlight all the bullshit.
Yeah, it turned into money rules everything right now. That's how bad it's gotten. It was kind of maybe not all the way, but partially opposite. Before you had players like Jordan having the clause in his contract, he could play whenever he wants and all that stuff. The guys actually loved to play. Like even the video I made a couple weeks ago about I don't know if it was on this channel it was on this channel, where I was comparing Larry Bird diving for basketballs in freaking practice, and you had LeBron James dive once in his career, and they made a huge story out of it. Like, bro, come on.
And that was more of a falling on the ball, not a diving for the ball.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, that's when he was with the Lakers. They just talked about how old he was. Still diving for the ball. I remember that.
Right.
I remember that.
I just want to get to the super real quick. Roth19, Israeli team owner offered Rodman $100K to teach the team rebounding. You think anyone will ever pay LeBron to teach any aspect of real basketball?
Yeah, they'll pay him money. They'll pay him money to teach a club or a player how to manipulate the narrative.
Yeah.
All right. You can pay him to come teach you how to grab somebody up by their arm and pull them away, like an ex-wife or ex-husband.
Yeah. Flopping instructor is good.
Talking about they have coaches teaching players how to flop.
Yeah, they do.
So
they actually do.
Yeah. So he could teach that, I guess.
For real.
If he ever gets to buy a team and be a part owner or whatever, it's going to be the team with the best floppers on it.
Yeah.
For real. Exactly.
I don't think they'll ever allow him to. I think they'll never allow him to own a team in the NBA. I'm fully convinced of that. I think he's too dangerous to the brand.
Well, both him and KD were in cahoots with NBA Europe.
Who gives a shit about NBA Europe? They can act like they do, but nobody cares.
Well,
remember, LeBron James was trying to start his own league. That's why they have games in Europe at beginnings of seasons. I think preseason sometimes they have.
Yeah.
They want to build that up and kind of expand into there.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Who knows? People can't hardly be bothered to watch, the NBA period. Why are they going to want to watch it in, a country they have no investment in?
Yeah, I think there was some talk of having almost like a separate league over there, not necessarily connected. Because just think about it. I'm from Poland. I was born in Poland. I take a vacation sometimes. I go over there. It's a 9-hour flight. Who the hell is going to fly 9 hours to play a game and come back?
Right.
Right.
Now it's an excellent point.
Right. He was trying to raise that money from these donors so that he could start that league over there. They were talking about that a year or so ago. And, they were talking about how that's, kind of offensive to the NBA and the history of the NBA. You're kind of turning your back on the NBA by trying to start your own league on the side. It's 10 has going on.
the thing with LeBron is he doesn't give a shit about anything, anyone, nothing. Just LeBron. Listen, if Rich started saying some stuff that LeBron didn't like, he'd dump fucking him too. I'm sorry for the words.
No, but that's 100% true. He will literally throw anyone under the bus. I mean, he did it to his own son and his family yet again.
Yeah.
There's no one that's off limits.
Well, you know, it's interesting you just said that, because I'm guessing Rich Paul and LeBron, their relationship is probably, I'm guessing it's probably not as great as they make it appear to be. Like, if I had to guess, that Rich Paul wanted to know everything that was going to happen with this next upcoming stupid decision, but didn't. And I think that probably hurt him personally. Also, not for nothing, just, sneaker news. Rich Paul is one of the faces of New Balance right now, which is Nike's #1 contender in terms of casual footwear. So my guess is those two butt heads behind the scenes fairly often.
Yeah.
Probably, yeah.
Interesting.
Listen to this theory. I was listening to something or reading something yesterday, and it's not 100%, but I think a little bit of LeBron being happy about what's going on and him not being on the Lakers is this. You guys know that LeBron loves to be the first in whatever it is, but he loves to be the first. So he's going to use his son again because he was the first to play with his son. Now he's going to be the first to play against his son. That's going to be in a documentary, 100%.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, 1,000%. They'll probably guard each other or something.
Yeah, 100%.
For the game winner or something.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a great. I like that. That's probably a great theory to have. It's what, like you said, LeBron James even used his own son to prop up his own legacy.
Right.
Yep. I agree. There was no possible way if the Lakers didn't draft him, Bronny would be in the NBA. There was no reality that would ever happen. And the whole story with the Golden State Warriors possibly wanting to, draft him and stuff like that.
Right.
It's also a planted story. If you look into it, there was never, ever any CEO, GM, even a player from the Golden State Warriors ever talking about that. It was just media spin.
Yep.
Right.
And guess what?
Nobody
Nobody ever followed up and asked.
Nobody draft Bronny because he's not playing there. There weren't options.
But even if there were, Cyberius, this is the most upsetting part. Even if there were, that's illegal. You're manipulating the rules by telling teams not to draft so-and-so.
Right.
That is the definition of manipulating the rules. I remember when it was a whole story that the Los Angeles Clippers, however weird it came out, the Los Angeles Clippers cornered Blake Griffin in his hotel room, Chris Paul and DeAndre Jordan, and said, "You better not sign with X, Y, and Z, otherwise we're going to get you." Like, that was a real story. And these things happen behind the scenes, except now they're really, really happening. It is the definition of collusion. It is the definition of manipulating the rules. LeBron did the same exact thing when he said, whatever team drafts Bronny, they might get me, blah, blah, blah. And by the way, we're lying about his height. We're lying about his weight. We're lying about everything that these players bust their asses to get into the league for, that their families sacrifice money, like real money for, to get them to this opportunity. You and your son, you lie about it. And it's like this, it's despicable. It's despicable.
Yeah.
And I'm starting to question Bronny James's character for actually kind of like being accepting of it. Like, I'm almost to the point where it's like, bro, like, do you still think that you deserve this roster spot? And if
I think he's got that in the will. If he doesn't do what he wants him to do, he's going to be out of the will.
Yeah.
Oh, so you think like the pressure's there? You better stay on task. Otherwise,
Heck yeah, 100%. You either fall in line or you're out of line.
That's crazy.
I've seen it before. When there's future money on the line, people have to, get in line. They become sycophants because they can't risk not getting that, or not even the potential of not getting that money. So they just immediately become sycophants and yes men and whatever you want.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's the way
Yo,
they
guys,
do
we
it.
gotta get going
It's
here.
crazy. So many people will sell themselves for money. That's the whole thing. Integrity is not worth it to them anymore. Honesty, nobody's got honor anymore. Nothing. It's just how much money can I make, and what do I have to do? And they'll bend over for anything.
That's
Yeah.
it.
Well, man, we've been going at this for over 2 hours
2
now. I
hours.
could
Holy
definitely
shit.
use some food.
Oh man.
I was working. I couldn't jump in any sooner. Sorry.
No. Hey, that's all right. Just know that, you have an open invite to join us any Wednesday or, or Sunday that you want. So feel free to,
I
to
appreciate
just let us
it.
know and we'll make it happen.
I appreciate it. You see, I jump in often, even if I'm not on. I always jump in and comment and do something.
No,
Yeah,
and
it's
I do. I
appreciated for sure.
appreciate it.
Yeah.
But real quick, thank you, Paul, for stepping in. Thank you, Speam, AOH, Sports and Fitness Rants. Absolutely. Thank you to the chat, to everybody that that gave super chats. I mean, we can't do the show without you, and the reality is we wouldn't want to if you guys weren't here. So thank you, everyone.
For real.
Thank you for having me, guys. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no, man. Thanks for coming through, guys. Thank you, guys. Catch you guys on the next one.
See you
All right,
guys
Joe.
Sunday.
Yep.